Let's get it. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. What we about to do on this one? First of all, let me say this first. Let me get to this first. Let's get this out the way. Fair use, because some of the material that I will be using will be used for the purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. So fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So let's get that out the way. Now, what's the purpose of this demonstration? So some of y'all seen a video, which I'm going to replay, 5-minute clip from a conversation that I was engaged in on the topic of reparations and delineation and other things. So it's a stream that I seen. Matter of fact, I'll give dude his due credit. I'll give them their due credit. Here it is. So I seen this channel. I wasn't subscribed to this channel. It just so happened that because of the algorithms, the type of material I typically watch, of course, we know how the algorithms work. They'll pull you into certain conversations or certain videos or certain channels. So shout out to the algorithm for introducing me to a channel, giving him another subscriber, and giving us both some material and conversation that we were able to mutually have, right? So I seen the topic was something like FBA pull up. They wanted the FBA to pull up to speak about reparations, blah, blah, blah. So I pulled up. And from what you guys seen in that 5-minute clip, that was a smaller clip from a conversation that was longer, that was pretty much about an hour long, which I also put on my videos. But there was really another 30 minutes that I didn't see until afterwards. So if you want to see the whole video that he did, let me see how we can get to it. I'm gonna give him his props. I'm gonna give him his credit. The full video is let me see. It's this one right here. Non-FBA versus FBA thoughts and reparations heated debate. So you can see the whole thing right there. Anyway, so I pulled up and we had the conversation. Later on, he tags me in a post that he was going live last night. And that's the video that I'm going to react to. Like I said, fair use. I'm going to react to his video since he did call me out by name. He did mention me in the title of the video. So we're going to go over that. Now, let me say this, man. The clip that I'm about to show you, it was kind of heated. We kind of had a heated back and forth. Over the course of the conversation, I would say by the end, we came to some type of civil discord and understanding. And almost a kumbaya moment. So because of that, I want to say that I'm glad, I appreciate, I'm thankful that he did the last video that he mentioned me in, because it just reminded me that at the end of the day, we can't really trust these tethers at all. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like I think what happened is I was triggered into my Pan-Africanism sentiments. You know, there's heartstrings that were pulled that made me think, hey man, we can get together with these others, with these off brands, which we can't, especially if they're tethers. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, too many of them are too far gone. And really, it's not up to me to try to convert tethers into allies. If it's not in you, it's not in you. If it's just on you, that's not enough. It has to be in you. So I don't know exactly what the intentions are, but what I can say is what I've seen, the whole energy, which you're going to see in a minute, is just like a celebratory, because what RFK said that we can't get reparations, and he's like taking a victory lap off of that, which is weird to me, because not only would it have a good effect on these immigrants, but his wife is an FBA. Anyway, let me just go ahead and recap. We're going to go ahead and play this video just to set it off. We'll get to more right after this drop.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
But you don't see black YouTube channels or black Twitter spaces where we're telling you, Guyana, you guys don't deserve reparations. Work harder. The British didn't do that much to you guys. Oh, get over it. White supremacy doesn't exist. You don't see that kind of shit. But we do see examples of you guys coming against us.
I need at least 20 to 50K y'all in front of every courthouse going like, nah, y'all been playing with us for too long and we need our shit. And I'll be real with y'all. If y'all do that, even though we're not going to
listen, you can't tell us how to do that if you're not doing that in your own homeland. You came here. So how are you telling us how we should do it? You guys wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for my ancestors. So how are you going to give me political strategy when you couldn't even do it where you're from?
Oh, you were talking about the cap. Dictatorship.
Stop the cap, bro. What we have done has been successful enough. If you heard that, what he said was they're under a dictatorship in Guyana. That's that, you know what I'm saying? That's just like it's the government, pretty much is what he's saying. The government won't let us. Here's my thing, man. Like when these tethers, when these others, when these off brands come to us about what we should be doing and we're not causing enough ruckus. We're just begging the white man, all these different terms that they use, all these different undermining talking points that they make. And they come from a lineage of people who did not fight back. See, you could do our history, run it down. You're going to see that we rebelled even militarily hundreds of documented times. So really, it's probably thousands of times. We literally freed ourselves in the Civil War, no matter how people try to, change the narrative. No. If we did not fight in the Civil War, we would not have been free, period. There's no getting around that. If we didn't fight in the Civil War, yes, we know that the Civil War wasn't about freeing us. It was about keeping the Union together. The freedom part was a byproduct because of our participation. We know about the Gullah Geechee Seminole Wars. We know about other regional conflicts that has happened. We know about recent pull-ups and rebellions from the 60s to the 90s to the 2020s. So to imply that we don't get down for our crown, coming from someone who fled their homeland, is disrespectful. Like if you're going to tell me that you left the place to come here when you could have fought for what was yours, I'm going to make this point. I've made it before. This is for every African nation. This is for every Caribbean and South American and Central American nation with melanated people. Understand something. Understand that the resources in your homeland are enough for the medium income for every family in your homeland to be millionaires. Let me say that again. For those who fled your homeland to come to the United States only because of what FBA has done to create the wealth and the opportunities for you to come here, just understand that what you left behind is enough resources that could make every family's median income $1 million. If you stood up in your homeland and reclaim your resources, whether those are the ability to produce food that could be exported, oil, silver, gold, all the different resources that are in all of these countries. I'm talking about Haiti. I'm talking about Jamaica, probably Guyana, probably at least has the ability to produce produce, tobacco, coffee, cocoa. All the resources that you guys could be producing in your homeland would make the average family there millionaires. But y'all came here. You didn't fight against the colonialism. You didn't fight against the puppet regimes that they placed over you. You fled and ran here. So when you say disrespectful shit like, I want to see y'all pulling up, y'all afraid to fight, stop it. Let's just stop it. Imagine us being 95% of the population here in the United States. Do you think that there would be one white person that would even look crazy at us? Do you think one police officer would profile and illegally search and arrest and slap us around like they do y'all over there? Hell no. We're the minority population here, and we still put up a fight. And sometimes those fights are political, sometimes they're social, sometimes they're economic, sometimes they're militaristic in nature. But we have fought for everything that we have got. We have fought instead of flee. We have fought even for your right to be here. So going against the grain and crossing game the way y'all do is disrespectful. Let's go. For you to want to flee here, right? We're not fleeing to Guyana.
No. White man
we ain't going to Guyana. You guys are coming here.
White man said it was successful on the backs of y'all. We're successful. So chill out, okay? Chill out.
See, that's so right there. What he did is he undermined the work that we did to create the wealth that he fled here to. He said, no, it's really the white man just did it on your backs. He's basically, you know what I'm saying? He's undermining our participation and giving a big up to the white man. This is the mentality. You have to understand the reason why there is a hatred towards us. You have to understand the reason why they undermine us, why to them it's a conflict. It's an internal conflict to them because they came from a land that they fled from. They didn't put up a fight politically. They didn't put up a fight militaristically. They just gave up and came right to the source of why their country is in shambles. You notice that? See, they come to America, they go to England, they go to these European countries, the same ones that are extracting their resources from their homeland, the same ones that have their homeland in shambles. They go straight to the source of the destruction of their homeland, and then they start caping for them. So he's saying, oh, it's the white man. You guys didn't really do it. The white man just made you do it. He wants to undermine the efforts of our ancestors and what they did that even has benefited him. I know it's hard for us to understand like the mentality because we don't have that type of spirit. Just like it's hard for them to see where we're coming from. You see, it upsets them. It makes them feel some kind of way internally. There's an internal conflict that they have when they see our spirit and ability to stand up against all odds and never quit and continue to fight, even when it doesn't look like it's possible for us to win. It makes them feel some kind of way because they don't have that in them. They can't even relate to that. They see somebody standing on business knowing that they can't. So it upsets them. So the only thing they can really think to do is undermine it. They would rather lift up the white man and give him all the credit rather than their own brothers because they feel like Cain and Abel. So what I'm doing is not enough. God, Father, Zaddy. So that's why they want to attack us. They want to undermine our efforts. And they understand that, hey, this doesn't have anything to do with them. They understand that they can't really directly benefit from us getting reparations. And because they take the stance where they're willing to play third or fourth fiddle. Like they know, okay, the dominant society is at the top. Then you have token tether class. And then maybe you have the blacks. See, they don't mind playing the 2 or 3 spot. And they understand that we get reparations. Well, they understand that at some point, we are going to take the number 1 spot, which means that the dominant society, as we know it now, would be the number 2 spot, which means that the tether classes move down. So they don't want to see that happen, even if it is a detriment to them in the long run. You see, our reparations movement being successful would indirectly benefit the immigrant class because prosperity would start to flow. Economics would start to be abundant and it would benefit the whole country. So they would still benefit from it. Not only that, it would legitimize the reparations claims that they have in their respective countries, CARICOM, etc. It would set a precedent. But you have to understand, this is what they come from. I was going to wait for this one, but I got to show you this now. You got to understand, this is where they come from, yo. This is the homelands that some of these cats come from. This is Guyana right here. So if you come from this, right? You live in these shanty towns, no running water. You could tell me that there's running water. There's no running water here. What are you talking about? Electricity probably is, scarce. See an outhouse right there, so there ain't no inside plumbing. So if you come from that, and now you have the opportunity to live in a place that we have built the wealth in, you compare that, and it's like, yo, to them, they're in heaven. They're living good. They're living high on the hog in comparison. They might be in a project housing Section 8 situation, but damn, they got running water, they got electricity, probably don't have as much cockroaches and rats running around in their bedroom. So to them, that's a good thing. They're doing good. So they don't understand why we're upset. They don't understand why we believe that we deserve more when we have so much more than they've ever dreamed of having. So they couldn't even muster themselves up because they don't have the contextual perspective that we do. See, they were enslaved too. But they didn't create any Charles Pages who out of slavery went to design the first aircraft on the planet 8 years before the Wright brothers. They don't have a Charles Page. They don't have a Madam C.J. Walker. They don't have a Louis Latimer, Elijah McCoy. They don't have people who have set precedents and invented things that are now industry standards globally. So they don't understand why we're saying that we deserve what is ours, because rightfully our birthright is to be wealthy. The average FBA should have been born into wealth, into old generational money based on the work and the inventions and the innovation of our ancestors. Just based on the fact that if we were able to own homes in the 1700s, those homes we would have been able to pass down and they would appreciate in value. That alone would have set us up in a better position where the wealth gap wouldn't be what it is. But then when you do the math on the trillions of dollars that this economy has created directly from slave labor, yes, we're saying that no, we're not asking, we're not begging, this isn't to be seen as some type of entitlement program or handout. This is a debt. You take away what we did, this country is a third world country. That's what we're saying. And you take away the work that Black people globally have done, all of Europe would be a third world country. See, they don't see it like that. They were taught that they were civilized by these Europeans, that they didn't contribute anything to society. And maybe they didn't, because they're not like us. So maybe they actually didn't, and they know that. And that's why to them, it sounds audacious to think that they deserve anything, because they feel like they already won. They're able to get out of a situation where they were real down bad. So they feel like they won. So at the end of the day, let's be real. They not like us. They couldn't do what we did. I'm gonna get back to this in a minute too, but I just want to show you this. What you're seeing in front of you right now is some of the companies, some of the corporations, some of the banks, some of the insurance, some of the industries that were made wealthy because of our labor, our innovation, our invention, our efforts. These are some of the countries that are still around right now, like the Lehman Brothers, Rothschild and Son, Bank in London, was that Aetna, Brown Brothers, Harriman, New York Life, J.P. Morgan, USA Today, Fleet Boston Financial, Wachovia, Canadian National Railway, Barclays, AIG, and Wells Fargo should be on there. Bank of America should be on there. The Catholic Church could be on there. Some of these big clothing manufacturers could be on there. So, you know what I'm saying? We're saying that, hey, the wealth that you guys flee to, we built. I know you guys didn't build like that where you're from. I know you guys don't have a doctor that was able to do heart transplants in the 1800s like we did. I get it. I know you guys didn't participate in creating electricity or lighting or telecommunications or gaming. I get it. Nothing that you guys have created apparently was globally recognized as an innovative, upliftment for humanity. Even your culture, your music isn't. We don't know anything about your music, nothing about your food, nothing about the way you dress. No one's trying to be like you guys globally. So I get it. You guys don't feel like you've participated and added anything globally to society. So it's crazy to look at us saying, no, we deserve $14 trillion as a debt owed to us. You guys can't relate to that. I get it. So that makes you start hating, makes you feel bad because you look like us. You guys might dress or try to talk like us, but you're not like us. And that burns your soul. Let's continue, man. We ain't even got to the main part yet. Let's go. That's my point. The stances that you take are very much in line with white supremacists.
I don't think y'all the also special black people.
Because we are. Because y'all copy us. We don't copy you. Obviously. We don't dress like y'all. We don't listen to Guyana music. But y'all know, I bet you all know all the top hip hop songs, don't you? I can't name one artist from Guyana.
It's a mute point because you still can't explain how you're going to get reparations. You guys have no game plan because you're not willing to fight for it.
We are fighting for it.
How?
The first step is raising awareness. First of all, their interests, their even just their interests in our strategy is mind-boggling. Like, why do they really care? Why do they feel like we owe them breaking down every element and step that we plan to take? For what? It's not like they're going to assist us in it. To the contrary, what they're going to do is try to undermine it. So deliberately, of course, we're not going to tell you everything. There's certain things that are like just common sense if you just follow the path of other movements that have been successful. But like, why would we just sit here and break down everything about our strategy to people that we know will try to undermine us? That doesn't even make sense. It would be different if we really could see you as the brothers that you're supposed to be. And you were really looking to back our play. And you weren't trying to undermine us with words and deeds. But seeing that we know, and we could break it all down to you, all you're going to do is try to you're going to just do the white man's job and try to poke holes in whatever we say. That's what your job is. Your job is to look for the weakness in our strategy and try to exploit that. It's not to patch it up. It's not to add to the sauce that we're cooking. See, we can't even comprehend that. And that's our problem as FBAs. We've been too tenderhearted for too damn long. We've longed for that connection with our global family in ways they didn't. See, we put ourselves race first. We put ourselves black first because we felt like doing that would connect us to the billion plus other black people of direct African lineage. And we thought that that would be a good strategy because if we came up like that, we would be able to sustain and reclaim global dominance. They didn't see it like that. They see themselves as immigrant first. They see themselves as whatever country they come from first. They see themselves as whatever tribe they come from first. This is how Africa was conquered. Let's be real. Africa was conquered by Arabs because they were able to break up people into different tribes. They were able to exploit the fact that Africans were so tribal that they put their tribe before race, even when they seen outsiders come. See, you can do that when it's only us. If it's only black people controlling Africa, you can have your little tribal differences. But as soon as an outsider steps in and becomes a threat, you have to put that aside. They didn't do that. That's how the Arabs were able to conquer them for centuries. All the Europeans did is just reran the same play. So they were able to exploit, well, this tribe, they kind of don't like this tribe. So if we start helping this tribe and then we befriend them and then we see what tribes that they don't really get along with, and then we can create rifts. We can magnify the differences. We can get them in conflict and we'll help this side, blah, blah, blah. And then pretty soon you could weaken the whole region and then you could just wipe them all out. That was the flaw in tribalism that they still want to hold on to this day. So they can't really conceive the idea that we would be like, no, we're black. Let's all just be black. Give a damn if you're from Jamaica, you're from Haiti, you're from Ghana, you're from Nigeria, you're from Belize, you're from, it don't matter. You're here in America. You're black like me. The same people are coming against us. It was just a no-brainer for us. They didn't see it like that. So it made us have to reevaluate and be like, okay, that's cool. Okay. Well, we got to tribe up then. We're 40 million strong. See, the 40 million here, the 40 is probably closer to 50, 55 million FBAs in the United States, whatever the number is. Do you think originally we're all the same tribe? Of course not. This is a vast land. Just the South alone in the United States is a big enough space, which it would occupy several countries in other places of the world. So of course we didn't originally share the exact same tribal identity. But because of what we went through and because of necessity and because we blended all together, we decided to throw all that to the side. We're just all Black Americans. We're just all FBA, period. Because that's a better strategy than dividing ourselves further and being more easily ruled. So now we're like, okay, so we got to tribe up then with the FBA lineage. That's what it is. It's not race. It just so happens that all FBAs happen to be black. But the lineage we share means that we built this particular country, not Jamaica, not Guyana, not, you know what I'm saying, Brazil, not Haiti. We built this particular nation that everybody wants to come to. So now we have to rock like that. And now they want to double back and be like, oh, you're being xenophobic. How come you guys don't want to, you guys want to separate? That's not a good, no. You guys wanted to do that. We didn't want to do that. We waited 100 years for y'all to jump on board with Pan-Africanism. We backed a Jamaican and his idea because they didn't back it in the Caribbean. We're the ones that said, you know what, that does make sense. We trying to get back on top. Okay, there's a billion plus of us. They got resources over there. They got whoopty whoop over there. We all come together. Yes, we could actually overtake this whole shit. Because we understood that all the wealth in Europe is only because of people of African descent, black people. So we understood that means that if we clicked up, the world is ours. We waited 100 years trying to get that movement going. They didn't want no parts of it. So now that we've seen that, okay, but we need to just think about ourselves first. They're black enough to come here and try to blend in and take the resources. We fought for them to be able to come here in the first place because, listen, they weren't here in the 60s and the 50s. We was going through Jim Crow and segregation and getting our heads busted just for trying to get equality. They wasn't here then. They came when the coast was clear. So they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand why we have the spirit that we do. It's in our blood. They don't get that. So the idea of fighting just infuriates them because to them, they just came from a shanty-ass town with no running water. And now they're in a project somewhere. They're in an apartment building somewhere. To them, they are in heaven now. The idea of fighting against the white man who they see as their savior is absurd to them. And it infuriates them to see us making trouble for all the good niggers. Because we're saying, hey, this whole wealth, the wealthiest white people you could think of in the world should be us. Because all the industries that we built, the banking industries, the railroad and transportation industries, the natural resource industries, the telecommunication industries, the entertainment industries are all fueled from us. So we're saying we want our lick back. We want what's ours. The inventions that we created, us. The infrastructure and institutions that we built, us. They don't get it. They can't relate because they ain't like us. Then class action lawsuit. But the first stage, the first stage is raising awareness and unifying over this goal. And also, we have to fight detractors and people who look like us, who undermine us, like yourself.
I don't.
Unfortunately, that's part of the fight. Now, if we didn't have that, we'd be a lot further. Hence why we have to delineate. If we didn't have people who look like us, who come from these Caribbean countries who want to undermine us, we'd be a lot further. Because we don't undermine you guys. We've only helped you guys. You've done nothing for us.
Dog.
Let's be real.
Look, no.
We don't go to Jamaica and start undermining. Hey, you guys need to let the Chinese keep taking over. We don't do that. Y'all come here and y'all side with the same people who destroyed your homeland.
No, we came over here.
Yeah, you do.
For the opportunity.
Why is there opportunity for you in America and not your own homeland?
Because my homeland.
Who built opportunity in America for you to be able to flee here?
Dictatorship.
We did. We even petitioned for you guys to be able to get here because they weren't letting black immigrants in here before. Now look at that. That's his FBA, according to him, woman right there. She can't even stand to be around that nigga right now. In light of hearing all that, she's like, "Damn, that's right. We did all this. This tether ass nigga. I'm laying up in bed, whatever. Let me get the fuck away from this nigga for a minute. Let me shut the door and tune out to this shit because I think she's a co-host. Yeah, she's like, man, what the fuck am I doing with my life with this nigga with a hairline pushed back to the back of his ears and shit? Tether babbling, probably living off of her like a true tether would. She had to get the fuck up out of there. She's like, man, fuck this nigga. For the 70s.
Are you taking credit for
Keep
the
it real.
Constitution? So you taking credit for the Constitution because that's what everybody looked up to America about.
I don't want to take too much time on this video because we got a whole another video that's like 30 minutes long that I want to dissect. It's light work, really. It's really light work. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, to be able to think that someone who had no type of political strategy in a shithole little nation of 500,000 people, whatever the population there is, to think that he's going to tell us how to navigate through the most powerful, dominant society known to man is crazy. We can't even take him serious for even suggesting that he has any type of, you know what I'm saying, strategy or instruction for us. That's just crazy. Man, the Constitution, but like I said, he wants to give credit to everybody but us. He just now said that the Constitution is why people come here. And this is chopped up. You have to watch the whole video to hear what I really said. But just to paraphrase, the Constitution is not why people come here. The Constitution is a beautiful document in itself, right? By words, by verbiage, by practice, we already know. But it's a beautiful document, but that's not why people come here. If we had the Constitution, but we didn't have wealth, people wouldn't be coming here. If we had the Constitution and we didn't have infrastructure to support running water, people wouldn't be coming here. If we were a dictatorship and we were wealthy, people would still come here. So it has nothing to do with the Constitution. That's cap. That's just his way of trying to undermine what we have done, to minimize what we have done and give credit to Zaddy. That's basically what he's trying to do right there. The Constitution is a piece of paper. The opportunity was made by actual labor. Keep it real. You didn't come here because of the Constitution. You came here because there's wealth that was built here. You came here for opportunity. You came here because there's running water here. You came here because there's electricity here. You didn't come here for no damn piece of paper. Stop the cap. Y'all came here because there's wealth here. You came here because you can make in one day more than your whole family would make in a year. That's why you came here. Stop playing. Stop playing with me, bro. I've been to Jamaica, bro. I've seen the shanty towns out there, bro. Okay, let me ask you a question. If it's so great in Guyana, why did your family flee here then? Why?
My family, look, if I go into the
why? Just answer that. Why'd they come here? Why didn't they stay there and build up that?
You want me to tell you the real story?
Yeah, I want to know the real story.
All right, well, I kind of come from a bit of nobility in Guyana, right?
God damn it. Here he comes. He's the king of Wakanda. He comes from the lineage of Mansa Musa. He was a prince of Zamunda. He came from great wealth and nobility. Royalty even in Guyana. That's what come on, man. Stop it.
Guyanese kind of used to be ran a certain way.
King of Wakanda.
And my grandfather was the president of the president of Vital of Agriculture in Guyana.
Okay, cool.
And Guyanese turned to a civilian, dictatorship. So my grandfather was like, nah, fuck that shit. We're going to America.
Fuck that. Pack the bags. We're fleeing. Where's my running shoes? Let me Usain Bolt about this bitch. Yes, nobility. Imagine being a noble, rightfully having rights to the power of that government and fleeing to become a dishwasher in America, to work at Amazon in America, to drive Uber. Imagine that. So of course, can we really expect the people like this, the people who come from this, to be able to relate to us who are willing to fight for what's rightfully ours against a more powerful military, a more powerful government, a more powerful system of white supremacy than has ever been exercised on this planet? Of course they can't relate to that. See, the problem is all that sucker shit inside their DNA. Daddy probably snitched. Heritage inside their DNA. That's just what their DNA is. They're not like us. They're 110%. They're not like us. So to them, it's absurd. They're living the dream compared to where they come from. If a nigga will go from nobility in Guyana to being a common pauper in the United States, and to them, that's a level up, you can't expect his children to fight for what's rightfully, you know what I'm saying? They just hit the jackpot. As a noble, he would rather not live in his homeland, but live here and give birth to an heir that is a instigator and agitator and tether, internet babbling. That was a level up for them. You can't expect them to relate to us, man. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm just gonna take all my skills over there.
Okay.
Him and his 14 kids, and that's exactly what he did. And here I am today.
He fled here with his 14 ragamuffin children to come and suck off of the wealth that we created to tether to us, and then later undermine us. Think about the psychology of that. He claims that he comes from nobility in his homeland. His family left and gave up their birthright of nobility in their homeland to come here. Because the average citizen here, a poor citizen here, obviously is a level up from nobility where he came from. So he fled here, only able to flee because of the work that we did in the civil rights era to allow them to come here, because they were not allowing black immigrants into this country. Only because of what MLK and others in that time did they open up customs to allow immigrants from black nations on a massive scale. So he took advantage of that. That's the tethering. See, take advantage of what we did, come here by essence of looking like us, being able to blend in with us, but the whole time they work to try to destroy and undermine and neutralize our efforts.
I want them money, man. The man them try to take food out of our mouth, half of our
Kill them.
My
A
lord,
lot.
something have to done about
What
them.
must be done about them,
Maxed
man?
out.
Done about them, man.
Maxed out.
My lord, something have to done about them.
What
man.
must be done about them,
Maxed
man?
out.
I take food out of our mouth, half of our table. The man them try to take food out of our mouth, half.
Believable.
The man them try to
Fucking believable.
I want them money, man.
Fucking believable.
The man them try to take food out of our mouth, half of our table.
So, but they come here, they want to take food of our mouth, though, right? It's unfucking believable, man. It's unfucking believable what these guys are willing to do. I'm glad that you made that video, dog. I'm glad you called me out on that video. I'm not saying that we can't have a discussion on it. It's just to put it back in perspective that this kumbaya shit just ain't what it is. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We still got to sift through some shit. We still got to do a purge. We still got to delineate. We still got to identify and neutralize these cancerous cells that come amongst us. These Trojan horses that will blend in with us, but are really filled with the thinking of the oppressor.
All right. So the president.
Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get to the next one. This is really what I want to do right here, though. Now we're gonna get to the live video that he did yesterday. Like I said, he literally called my name out in the video, mentioned me in it. So fair use. We're gonna use this as a study, right? Let's go back to the fair use for everything. Fair use. And we're just gonna see if what he is saying makes sense. We're gonna check and gauge his spirit, his sentiments, how sincere what he's saying is, what his motives appear to be, what his agenda is. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So, you mentioned the black farmers. Well, honestly, I know I told the truth. So I kind of want to see how this goes down. I hope y'all are come pull up in the chat later on. We can talk about this. I'll even run the video back for y'all. And liberation minded media. Yeah, I would like for that man to pull up because I need him to see this because it pertains to our debate. I remember he told me that if we need to hear a hard no before we decide on anything else to do. And RFK just dropped some truth on us that kind of it was very shocking. He dropped some truth that we weren't real, that I guess the community wasn't willing to accept. But here's the thing, though. He told the truth, but for some reason, he still got the same results. Guess what? As me. And that's what I did. I feel like I told the truth. Well, honestly, I know I told the truth. So I kind of want to see how this goes down. I hope y'all are come pull up in the chat later on. We can talk about this. I'll even run the video back for y'all. Like, that's how much I want to show you. And this is not a, oh, I'm right type of situation. This is a, I just want to inform you type of situation. All right. Let's get right into the video, guys.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
So just for context, what this is a conversation that 19 Keys had with presidential candidate RFK, who's family of JFK and all those dudes in the 60s. And they was having a conversation about reparations. So that's the basis of this video that he's going to be playing.
Reparations, the big R, right? How do the African descendants of slaves, right, finally reap this, finally collect, right, what was promised but never given?
So, you know, you mentioned the black farmers recently, and that there's a different issue with black farmers and the black farm.
Just not fair use, but just to let you guys know, you're gonna hear a lot of male babbling from this raspy voice gentleman right here. A lot of it is really ain't shit. It's really just him backing the idea that he doesn't want reparations for African Americans, for FBA. But we're gonna see how legitimate what he's saying is compared to what our claims are. And then we're gonna investigate if maybe when you really break it down, if that's the reason why Tethers, like the one that I'm reacting to right now, you know, really are against reparations.
There's actually, you know, I had on my podcast the head of the Black Farmers Association recently, and what happened to black farmers is there was a loan program. You just mentioned this, but I'm going to tell people the whole story. There was a loan program in the USDA. That program said, if you're a small farmer and you meet certain metrics, you are entitled to these government grants and government loans. They're two different programs. Black farmers, the guy who was running that program for decades was just an overt racist. And
all right, so here's sign the people that they assigned to help us, or I'm sorry, like I said, not FBA. So I'm sorry. The people they assigned to help y'all are actually against y'all. You know, aka Gavin Newsom, you feel me? But hey, that's just my opinion on that matter. But you hear what I'm saying? I want y'all to hear the history of this. The history is that when it came to reparations and giving back, they always had a way of kind of faking it. You feel me?
I don't know if this is, maybe to him, this is a revelation. Maybe he really doesn't understand how systematic white supremacy works and has worked in this country for the past 400 years. Maybe he just doesn't understand that, so he thinks that this is breaking news. Hey, breaking news, guys. The dominant society that controls this shit, they're white supremacists, they're racist. They don't necessarily like black people. I didn't know that when we fled here. We thought that they were Jesus. We thought they were saviors, but apparently maybe there's something to this white supremacy you guys are talking about. Of course, we already know that. Do you think that we base our movements on if these folks like us or not? Huh? Do you really think that we base any of our struggles on if the dominant society or if white supremacists like us? But this is, you know, the level of thinking that he's capable of. Because at the end of the day, the difference between us and these coons and these tethers is these coons and these tethers, they want nothing more than just to be acknowledged and liked and get a pat on the head from Zaddy. That's all they really want. some sweet words, a pat on the back, there you go, good boy. To them, that's good. That's golden. So as long as they have that, that's why they'll coon and they'll soft shoe and foot shuffle for these cats. That's why these Tommy Sotomayor's and these Candace Owens and these others exist. They don't care. They just want the pat on the back, even if it means throwing their own people under the bus or throwing people who look like them under the bus. As long as they get that pat on the head, as long as they feel like white folks like them or accept them or, you know, tolerate them, to them, that is worth more than actual wealth. It's a psychological thing. You got to remember, a lot of these countries, a lot of these places that people come from, not even just the African and Caribbeans, even these Hispanics and these Asians, they have no problem with the representation of God being European. They don't come here. We're the only people who said, no, we got to change that up. We got to have representatives that look like us in the divine cosmic order. They willingly accept. They're building. They have the largest white Jesus statues are in Brazil and Nigeria. They're more than happy to accept that. So to them, just for God to pat them on the back and say good job is good enough for them. So they think we operate like that. They think that we're really even weighing out or considering if these folks like us or not, or if they're racist when we're saying what we need. That's why he's making a big deal. They're racist, man. They don't want to give it to you. You heard that, right? We don't give a fuck about that. So what? Up the cash, man. Cut the check.
To me, like the 40 acres and a mule, they fake that. You see what they try, what RFK's try to talk about here is like they try to give y'all good farmland and they fake that. It was an overt racist that was running that. Come on now.
That program said, if you're a small farmer and you meet certain metrics, you are entitled to these government grants and government loans. They're two different programs. Black farmers, the guy who was running that program for decades was just an overt racist. And the waiting room would be filled with black farmers who were waiting to apply. They would never be given a loan. They would watch white farmers go in, cut in line.
So let me fast forward it. So what he's doing right here is the Mayo babbling is just basically letting us know the finesse. We already know how they finesse things. They finessed it. Affirmative action. They finesse all these different welfare programs. They finesse. That's what they do. We expect that. We maneuver despite that. See, you have to remember that these tethers, they come from countries that they didn't even do any type of fighting to right the wrongs. They didn't do any of that. So they think that because we can't win every victory and that we're going to take some losses, like the Tulsa reparations situation, which they're still fighting, like the black farmers, they think that because we heard a no or an obstacle exists, that we're supposed to just give up because that's what they would do. See, they think that we're like them. We're not like them, and they're not like us. But instead of leveling up to be more like us, they want to pull us back to be like them. They want us to just accept this is just what it is. And let's just be happy because before the white man came and civilized us, we had bones in our nose and was swinging from trees and shit, whatever the fuck they were taught in their country. Because I spoke to Nigerians, I spoke to people from West Africa. They told me, but I even showed you some evidence of the education that they get, which is designed to make them believe that white people civilized them. And even in Africa, that's not true. All over Africa was way more developed than Europe up until about the 1500s. After the devastating war and the usurping of their resources, that set them back to Stone Age. They were living better than the average European up until the transatlantic slave trade. But they don't know that. We know their history better than they do. So they see that these white folks are saviors to them. So to them, they're like, man, they're just happy to be here. They believe that it was a blessing to go under colonization and slavery. So for us to fight against it, to them, it irks their soul. Because they feel like we're going to fuck up a good thing. Why you guys want these white folks mad at you, man? As good as we have it. I just came from a place where we were eating mosquito flies, drinking dirty water, no running water, no electricity, no AC, rats and roaches running all over, you know what I'm saying, our house and shit. And now I get to live in a project somewhere in America. You guys have internet? So mad. Because they're not like us.
Public parks, prisons were segregated by law. Mental institutions were segregated by law, but also I had a guy who worked for my family who I was very close to. It was like a mentor to me growing up. I would go hunting and fish. He taught me to hunt and fish. He was a black man who had been served in World War II in the Pacific. He was about 6'5". He was an incredible, dignified, very smart guy. And he would take me hunting in Virginia, and from when I was a little kid, and whenever we drove across the country.
All right, so this is the same old story that he's telling, right? Like, remember, during slavery, black women would breastfeed their children. Like black people would always be the ones that showed them and took care of them and educated them and were more humane to them than they've ever been to us, but they still would deny us our right as human beings to exist in peace and prosperity and equality. So he's just going to tell the story about how, he grew up and this black guy, he would teach him everything, fish, hunt, this and that, but he couldn't go in the restaurants with him. He couldn't blah, 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 blah. And after all of that, he's going to basically say that he's against reparations. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Let me just fast forward a little bit.
I ain't even going to lie to you. Like, dog, look, there is not even, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right.
And when I was growing up, I remember so many of the black people that I met had corns on their feet because of this rule, because they couldn't find a shoe that fit them. And they would oftentimes, you'd see black people with the size of the shoes.
All right. So what I fast forwarded past is he said that once a black person tried on some shoes, they wouldn't let them return it. So if they didn't fit, they had to buy them. Hence the corns on their feet, etc.
Cut out because their corns, it was the only way that they could, deal with the pain from their corns. And I didn't understand that at that age, but I did know that I had to go buy him shoes when he wanted shoes. So I saw, the injustice when I was a kid. And, I'm very proud that the role that my father played and my uncle played in ending that system of Jim Crow, which was kept in place through unofficial intimidation and official laws, the Jim Crow laws that made it almost impossible for blacks to participate in the political process, to exercise their right to vote. And, I'm very proud that my family, partnering with Dr. King, played a key role in making this country, for the first time in history, a true constitutional democracy. I understand the moral justification for reparations. I don't tell people that I'm going to get reparations. People who do that are lying. And
Hold
particularly, on. And it's very easy.
Bro, I know y'all heard that. So, y'all just can't accept that fact, though. That, guess what?
Reparations. I don't tell people that I'm going to get reparations. People who do that are lying.
Wait, you're not going to give us reparations? Then who? Because Trump.
Who the fuck is us? Us? Oh, he's not going to give us reparations, nigga. He's going to give us reparations. Stop playing.
Trump ain't doing it. Biden definitely had a chance that he ain't doing it. So how's this going to get done once again?
Fine. And particularly, and it's very easy for Gavin Newsom to appoint a commission. That's what politicians do.
Now, you remember Liberation when you said, oh, well, we got a committee, a commission that, like, all right, cool. You brought up a very political point, but did these political things get things done though?
First of all, I didn't specifically say that. I did not say, I didn't out of my mouth say we have a commission and all that. I didn't say that. I said that there is work that is being done behind the scenes. I said there's work that is being done in courts. There is works that are being done, and you can see the manifestation of that, and just the manifestation of the fact that we've been raising awareness and pushing the issue to the point where you actually have cities and states creating different reparations programs. Not to say that we accept those programs or that we say that those programs are good to go. It's just the fact that because of our influence, it's at least moving the needle enough for them to recognize and start having these committees. How sincere they are, how much they really intend to fully disperse, how much they might like to change the wording so it can encompass and include everyone. All of these things are obstacles. But what I'm saying is just the fact that we have enough influence on a grassroots level from social media and from putting our feet on the ground and having some of the public displays that we've had, it has moved the needle pretty far. They've had Senate hearings on reparations as far back as 2019 or so, all because they hear the roars from the underground. That's pretty significant in itself. Do we expect a flawless victory? No. Do we expect that everything's just going to line up perfectly? No. We understand that there's going to be pushback. We understand that we're going to take some losses. We're going to lose some battles in this war, in this fight. We accept that. We expect that, and we accept that, and we will continue even despite that. That's something that you don't understand. That's not in your blood. It's not in your lineage. It's just not in your spirit, unfortunately. I'm not speaking for all immigrants. I'm not speaking for all Caribbeans or all Africans, all South American people of Negroid race. But the ones I'm speaking to, you know who you are. We understand what we're up against. We knew this before we started. We've done a lot more historically epic things just here in America that were deemed impossible. So the idea that we can't get reparations and that we're going to give up because some presidential candidate says that he's not for it or it can't happen, who gives a fuck what he's talking about? That's not enough for us to quit and give up. But Negroes like this are taking victory laps because of it. That's the difference. You can tell by the spirit of how he's saying things. You can tell by his body language, by his tone. He's almost taking a victory lap. In his soul and his spirit, he wants to hear that we're not going to get reparations. It just confirms his bias that we're not. It confirms his longing for us not to be able to advance and actually benefit from what we did. They don't mind benefiting from the work that we did. They just don't want us to. That's Tether. They come here, latch themselves to us in the homeland that we built, try to benefit in every way they can, even if it means undermining us or leeching from us. But they don't want us to benefit from our own labor and from our ancestors' sacrifice. But they benefited. That's why they're here in the first place. They wouldn't want to be here if it wasn't for the wealth our ancestors built. And they couldn't be here if it wasn't for the political moves that our ancestors pushed for during the civil rights era. So they doubly benefit from us, but they don't want us to benefit from us. They benefit from our ancestors. They don't want us to benefit. So they take victory laps at the idea that we might not get reparations. Don't even try to understand or put yourself in their mind frame. Don't even do that. Just understand what it is. Understand why we say they're not like us and why we say they're tethers and why we say that we have to delineate. We have to tribe up with our own lineage. From there, we could accept friendships from people outside of our lineage, but not if they are of the cloth of fleeing tethers.
Is the real question. I think we're about to find out, G, because I ain't answering it. He is.
And they don't intend to do anything, but they want to satisfy the demands of the constituency.
So are FBAs being played on with reparations by let's see, the political parties?
Yeah, of course. You know what? That's what political parties do. They cater and pander. They make promises, false promises. They play games. They do that. We expect that. That in itself isn't enough for us to quit. That in itself isn't something that we can't overcome. We have overcome worse. We've overcome worse. The first heart surgery was done by a doctor who was born a slave in this country. The first aircraft was created and designed by a brother named Charles Page, who was born during the time of antebellum slavery and got a patent in 1906, 8 years before the Wright brothers ever flew a plane. We are extraordinary people. Some raspy voice candidate who has no chance in hell of ever winning the presidency telling us no is not grounds for termination of the mission. I know y'all don't understand that because y'all didn't even take up a single fight where you come from. I know y'all don't understand that because it was a come up for a noble classman of Guyana to come to America to be a fucking dishwasher or whatever the hell he did. To have an heir that's on streaming on YouTube, that's a come up for you guys. So of course, to you guys, we're just complaining and begging because you guys are living the dream. We're saying, nah, I don't give a damn if I have a 5-bedroom house in the suburbs with a European whip parked in front of it. It ain't enough. Because the generational wealth that was built by my ancestors, I should have 40 acres, easy. We should be living as millionaires, as you guys should in your homeland. See, if you had the perspective in the historical context correct, then you would understand that every Black person on this globe, no matter what country they are in, should actually be millionaires. Every person in Nigeria, every family in Nigeria and South Africa and Ethiopia and Ghana and Sierra Leone should all be millionaires. In Congo, Niger, every medium household income in those nations supported by their resources should actually be millionaires. The reason they're not is because the wealth went to European nations. Every Caribbean country should be millionaires. The median income for a family in Jamaica, in Haiti, in Belize, in Guyana, they should actually be millionaires or hundreds of thousandaires just because of the resources that are being extracted and extorted and exported from your homeland. Let's not forget, Haiti was 80% of the French wealth up until the revolution. 80% of France's wealth came from Haiti. And France was one of the most wealthiest nations at the time in the world, with one of the most mightiest armies on the planet at the time. 80%. That means that Haiti should be the wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The reason they're not is because France took all that wealth, then they put embargoes and shit like that on them, sanctions, so that they couldn't generate wealth for themselves. They took such a loss that they sold half of America was purchased from France. That's how much wealth that Haiti was creating for French. So actually Haitians should be rich, which means that they should have a military strength, technological strength, industrial robustness. They should be flourishing, but they're not. And because they don't do it, and because what they did is what a lot of these tethers do. Let's just revisit Haiti one more time. Haiti got their independence over time because of pressure from France. Some of the mulatto class tethers killed off the generals that actually freed them and then made a deal with France to pay them reparations. They actually sabotaged, backstabbed, murdered, and dismembered the very generals that were responsible for their independence. They turned on them. That's what's in their blood. They got the real niggas out the way. So that's the same type of mentality and spirit that these tethers come here with. They're willing to backstab. They're willing to sabotage. They're willing to be the front auxiliary forces for white supremacy against us. That's why delineation is very important. Because the first line of defense for white supremacy is going to come from these tethers and these coons. They're the first ones we have to fight. Because we see that that's what it is right now. Even just on a political level, on a media level, on a social level, the first line of defense for them are these coons. That's why they they platform these Tommy Sotomayors on Fox News, these Candace Owens, these Sheriff David Clarks, these other people in blackface, typically from Caribbean roots, sometimes from African roots, sometimes from our own lineage, that they platform to undermine us. This is warfare. All warfare isn't guns. Some of it is information. Some of it's media. Some of it's economics. Some of it's spiritual through the airwaves, culturally, like them trying to usurp hip hop, them platforming these tethers like Drake, platforming these ratchets like Sexy Red. This is all warfare. And for us to be successful, the first thing we have to do, unfortunately, is neutralize those who look like us, who has been able to tether and blend in with us. We have to get them out the paint first. You think about some of the rebellions, for those of y'all who are historically educated, we know that some of the biggest rebellions that didn't work or never got off was because of someone who looked like us who sabotaged the plan. Denmark VC had one of the biggest rebellions planned, and it was sabotaged by scary Negroes that ran and told that to Zaddy. Even before, when they did, even in Haiti, part of their success is they didn't tell the whole plan to everybody. They identified who was really with them. And the first thing they did before they went war is some of these house niggas had to end up missing. Not everybody was invited to the meetings in the swamp. That's what we're doing right now. We're killing off these detractors that look like us first. That's the first line of business. And we're doing it with media. So we've identified that, you know, these Roland Martins and these other cats don't really represent us. So we neutralize their influence over our people by calling them out, showing what it is, and making sure that on a grassroots level, we're getting our message out and we're controlling our own narrative. That's why they become useless, because they don't have influence on us. That's why the whole Myron and Tariq Nasheed situation, it was bigger than just some type of spat on Twitter space. It was neutralizing the talking points that these Tethers and Coons try to use against us on behalf of Zaddy. That's why the Drake Kendrick battle was bigger than just hip hop. It was culture, but it was bigger than that because it represented the industry and their tether plants, which Drake is, being neutralized. And it showed that the grassroots, the people, the culture wanted the real shit. That's the influence we have. So as we continue to generate this momentum and neutralize these Tethers and these Coons and get them out the paint, they become more useless. Our people become more solidified. We refine our lineage, strengthening it, and we make sure that these Tethers and these detractors and these agents don't really have the influence. And we understand that our influence will bring people to our aid. We can set a trend. This is why they wanted our support for the war against, in Israel and Palestine. This is why they were coming at us. Remember when that conflict first started? Why ain't the blacks saying anything? How come you guys ain't saying anything? You guys better start talking, or whoop-de-whoop, you ain't got our back. We created the NAACP for you guys and all this bullshit. Why were they going so hard saying that? They already had, saying the Coon class, they already had their bought and paid for puppets hollering free Israel and all that shit. But they wanted the grassroots because they understood that if we on a grassroots level backed what they were doing in Israel, the whole world would rally behind us and they would echo what we're saying. That's why they don't want us to get this shit off the ground. This is why I said the closer we get to our goals, the more momentum we build, the more resistance we're going to have. The more people speaking against the new black media and FBA are going to keep popping up. The Mike TVs are going to show their ass. The Taharka Bays are going to continue pushing. You're going to see other platforms pop up, going against the Tariq Nasheeds, going against the Jason Blacks, going against the new black media and FBA in general, speaking against the reparations, trying to dissipate the energy that we're building, trying to magnify any defeat that we take, as if that's the example and that's how we should move, because this raspy voice clown, male-faced candidate that's dead in the water is saying, no, we can't give you the reparations. And we're supposed to take that as, oh, okay, guys, let's pack it up. Just pack it up, guys. I guess that's it. Nah, because it don't matter how well we're doing. The reason why we're cohesively one, for those of us that's on code, doesn't matter how good or bad we're doing. We understand that really we should have all of this shit. Like the new patriotism that we're starting to build in this country. I know a lot of people don't understand it. I know a lot of people think like, hey, man, what are you guys doing, man? You guys calling yourself Americans? Yeah. God bless America. America the beautiful. Damn right. How can we say that? What are you talking about? Because we're looking at a perspective that this is going to be ours. This will be ours. So let's go ahead and get used to loving it now, because we're going to run this shit at some point. Reparations will only accelerate that process. Everyone knows that. So these Tethers that fled here started undermining us. If they see us take power, that's scary to them. Because we ain't going to give them the pat on the head that the, white supremacists were giving them for going against us. We're going to remember, oh, okay, y'all niggas wasn't really fucking with us like that. The white folks know it too. They know, like, okay, if we let these guys close the wealth gap and they start being able to control their industries, what we're going to see is Black Wall Street times 1,000. We're going to see Rosewood times 1,000. We're going to see these black towns and times 1,000. And they understand that they can't compete. They can't compete with us any more than they compete with us in sports. They can't intellectually compete with us like that. They can't compete with us in business. You don't. There's not one black billionaire who's not a self-made billionaire. Not one. Their billionaires inherited massive amounts of wealth. Elon Musk is not a self-made billionaire. His family was already rich. Bill Gates' family was already rich. Donald Trump's family was already rich. Our millionaires had to get it out the mud. Madam C.J. Walker had to get it out the mud. I believe she became a millionaire like 1906, 1910, something like that. Got it out the mud. So our business acumen and our hustle and grind is greater. All we need is a little opportunity. So we're looking at a perspective of no. Not only can we get this, but this is ours, is due to us. And if we would have already had it, we would be we'd be out of the fucking, we'd be off the chain with how much wealth we would collectively have. We'd be dominating every single industry in this country, not as just creators and consumers, but as owners. That's why they go against the big three so much. That's why they tried to dead the big three, because listen, we had the Negro Leagues back in the day. We fucked around and integrated, and it dissipated from there. If we run that back, like we could build from grassroots professional sports leagues. Who's going to watch the NFL if all the top talent isn't playing? Who's going to watch the NBA if it's a bunch of white guys and Europeans and all the true talent is playing for the big three? That's where the crowd's going to go. That's where the money's going to go. Everyone understands that. That's why they have to hold it back. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic.
Are they playing on y'all emotions? I believe so. Honestly, I think they're just playing with y'all. I just think they're just going to keep on saying that we can do it, as long as they keep your vote, and they'll do very small things to just give y'all that glimmer of hope, just to it not mean anything in the end. But let's go back, because I swear y'all just don't want to.
I mean, you could just hear it. I see y'all in the chat. What's popping, Don P? I see you set. Yeah, I mean the voice, the spirit, and the energy that you have relaying this message, as you call it, this truth from this dude saying that we don't deserve reparations. Just the energy that you're delivering, it's like you're trying to take a victory lap. That's weird. That's some real low-key hating energy. That really shows who you are. And for someone who claims that they have an FBA lady in the house, for you to be going this hard to try to show us how we're not going to get reparations, instead of using any of your intellectual cognitive abilities to try to figure it out or try to support it, if nothing else, that speaks volumes. That means you're willing to sacrifice your woman and your children, your future generations. You're willing to throw all that to the side to try to dissipate and neutralize the energy that would actually benefit you and your family and your future bloodlines. But I guess that's no different than what your parents did when they went from what you call nobility in Guyana to fleeing on a boat to get over here to mop floors. I mean, if they were willing to give up their nobility status without a fight and to flee here, I can't expect that you would do anything that would benefit your future lineage, because they didn't. You come from the stock of weak niggas. You come from a lineage of weak breeds. I mean, that's innately, I guess, who you are, and you can't help it. You know what I'm saying? You can't help it. I get it. You don't blame retarded kids for licking windows. You don't blame dogs for barking. That's just what they do. But you know what I'm saying? Just understand our perspective is different than that. Let me read some of these comments, man. I'm the one who said fight. We are fighting. See, what you try to do, and this is what's something that a lot of agents do as well, is what they'll try to do is they'll try to set the bar so high, and they'll make it so radical and crazy that they know it's not really gonna happen, and then they'll judge you for that. So you saying that we should fight, like we should have a militaristic stance against the most sophisticated army in the world, but you guys didn't do that against an army that the LA Crips could take over in a week in Guyana. Like, your military out there is so weak, we could send gangbangers out there and they would have that shit done by Labor Day, but y'all couldn't fight against that. But you're telling us, you're shading us for not just saying declaring war on the United States government. And first of all, we wouldn't even talk about something like that online. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you, dog? We've already got down for the crown, man. Maybe you don't know the history of the 60s. Maybe you don't know the history of us coming up in this country. Maybe you don't know. It's not like it was televised. It's not like they got that information out. They tried to keep that down, just like they kept the Haitian Revolution down at the time. But why we wouldn't even have these type of discussions on an internet forum. But the idea that you're trying to shade us and tell us we should fight when you don't have a single lick of fight from your grandpa to you, and before that, that's audacious. Somebody who fled, someone who ran, someone who jumped on a boat, the first thing smoking out of the country that they're from, that they have nobility status in. You gave up your royal crown, your royal affiliation. You gave it up willingly to come here. But you're telling us to fight? Negro, we would never take any advice from someone who comes from a lineage of coward spirit. See, the problem is all that sucker shit inside your DNA. Daddy snitch, fleeing heritage inside your DNA. We don't want nothing to do with that. What's up, Don P? So damn, I can't be a naturally happy person. Yeah, you could be happy. You could be as happy as you want. You look pretty happy right now on this live stream I'm watching. You look happy, very happy. You look like you're wearing some rainbow underoos, like that happy. Honestly, yeah. Mr. Point, bro. It's all a minority population in this country, and we established a reputation for fighting for everything we got, and apparently all these other groups get as well. Facts. If I wasn't going live the way I am, I'd highlight that shit. Facts. We fought for everything as a minority. We are not the majority, but everything we've got, we fought for. That's why we don't care about if we can't win every victory. We don't care about what this raspy voice motherfucker right here is saying. We don't care because we fight for everything. You think that when we were fighting, for, you know what I'm saying, to be free, there wasn't people saying, no, it'll never work. You niggas, of course. You think when we were fighting for the right to vote, the right to eat where we want, the right to drink from water fountains. You know, my parents are of the age and from, my mom's from Louisiana, but they're of the age where they can remember not being able to drink from the same water fountain. You don't think at that time there were people saying, oh, we'll never be able to get the right to stop it. Everything we've been through, everything we've gained, we've fought for. We don't know it any other way. We couldn't conceive the notion of giving up. Yeah, they did water down our lineage. They did. They thought they did. They tried to, but it's just in our DNA that once it gets activated again, we riding. Period. And everything that you've been able to benefit from also came from what we have fought for you to be able to do. You would not be here if it wasn't for us. You wouldn't even want to be here if it wasn't for us. So when you come here and you start fighting against us, that's treasonous. So, I mean, if you want us to fight, I mean, the first people we're going to have to fight is y'all. Like, if you're saying it has to come to a conflict, a physical conflict, I'm going to tell you the truth. We wouldn't even consider trying to go up against any type of, military forces in the United States before we clean house. So careful what you ask for. Because just from a military strategy standpoint, it would only make sense that we would have to clean house first. We would have to get these tethers out the way first. We'd have to get y'all out the paint first. The same way we're doing it right now through social media, the same way we have to do it politically. If it came to a physical, we would have to get y'all out the paint first, because you're the first ones that's going to come against us if we decided to ride against the dominant society. You guys are going to be the ones getting in the way, trying to sabotage shit. So careful what you ask for. We don't have the spirit of giving up when we fight for something. It's just not in our DNA, because we got royalty and loyalty inside our DNA. Nigga, we are them. We are them. There's a reason why they create government programs to watch and monitor us, to disrupt our activities, to infiltrate our organizations. There's a reason for that. We're a threat. You guys aren't a threat. They let you all over here by the bunches just to dilute and water down us, knowing that you're going to side with them over us. See, we thought when we was fighting for y'all to come here that, okay, that's going to be more reinforcements. Y'all come from places where the same people are controlling your resources. You know what I'm saying? We thought that you guys would understand that commonality that we had. Well, we were wrong. Damn. Okay, I was on mute. My bad. But yeah, let me get back to that. I think that's why they throw in all that money at the players to keep them in line. If you're speaking about sports players, you're right. That's exactly what they do. It's not just money that they throw at them. Like I was saying before, like there's been government programs forever to monitor our activities, to dissipate and neutralize and undermine and infiltrate our organizations, because they understand that we're a threat, that we could be a threat, even if we're not trying to militaristically engage like we were in the 60s. Just us getting on code economically is a threat, because it's a financial threat, right? Like Black Wall Street it wasn't just jealousy that made them want to attack Black Wall Street. Just the idea that we don't need them and we don't really need to interact with them to thrive means economically they're going to be at a loss, and soon there's going to be competition. Remember Elijah McCoy, you want the real McCoy. So if we start controlling industries and creating, engineering different products, people are going to come to us. Meaning we're going to be, because we're going to do it better. You let a black car company get rolling in this country, they're going to be driving those. You let us start creating computers and telecommunications and weaponry, and that means we're going to have the best. It means people are going to want it from us. It means that, the money that is created and generated that protects white supremacy will start to diminish. So yeah, when it comes to sports, of course, they throw money. They don't just throw money at the players. They do more than that. They have a program. These professional sports leagues, they have whole indoctrination programs that they run the players through. It's no coincidence that a lot of these players are coonish or gravitate towards white women. That's part of the program. You go into these parties, they're filling them up with white women. They want you to marry these white chicks for two reasons. Number one, once they divorce your ass, you lose all that money and it goes right into these white women's hands that are going to uphold white supremacy with it, directly or indirectly. Even if, I'm not saying that they hate black people. I'm saying that what they're going to do with the money is not going to be anything that's going to build our communities. But they also want you with the white woman on your shoulder because you're less likely to ride for black causes. You're more likely going to, take cues from the dominant society. You're likely going to soften your heart and ignore white supremacy. So it's a whole program that they put these players through. That's why these players rarely speak up on our issues, and when they do, they get crucified. LeBron James is beloved in the world of basketball. He starts speaking up. It's shut up and dribble. He's the least controversial, no scandals. He's not militant. He's not like saying things in a hateful way out of malice. But for him just to say, hey, that kid that was killed in my hometown, I don't like that. Shut up and dribble. Kyrie Irving just retweeting $500,000 fine. Allen Iverson just wearing braids and having his black babies in his hands, in his arms while he's doing interviews. That's too ghetto. They don't, you know what I'm saying? This is what we're up against. So when we see these other cats that look like us, yeah, it hurts that they would be part of that bullshit. But because they really don't have any power, and we've been fighting these racist white supremacists that actually do, at the end of the day, you guys are nothing to us. Yeah, we got to swat you. We got to slap you around a little bit. But at the end of the day, y'all ain't really stopping nothing. We have to stay diligent. We have to make sure we control our narrative. We have to make sure we neutralize. And channels like mine, which are smaller, yeah, I'm gonna take shots at some of these, you know what I'm saying, other channels and these detractors, just so the bigger platforms don't have to do it as often because they have a message to disseminate, which is bigger than just slapping around a bunch of tethers. So I'm just doing my, I'm playing my role. But anyway, let's get back to this so I can close this shit out.
AMLE, partnering with Dr. King, played a key role in making this country, for the first time in history, a true constitutional democracy. I understand the moral justification for reparations. I don't tell people that I'm going to get reparations. People who do that are lying. And particularly, it's very easy for Gavin Newsom to appoint a commission. That's what politicians do, and they don't intend to do anything, but they want to satisfy the demands of the constituency. That commission is going to do nothing ultimately, and none of them will. And the reason for that is that the reason they won't do anything is because President Trump appointed a number of judges, particularly the Supreme Court, that have made it illegal to give race-based reparations.
What? Hold on. So Trump, right? So Trump pretty much said this.
Is that the reason they won't do anything is because
and they won't do anything. Oh, hold on, I got you. Because like I said, bro, we're talking about these committees.
Politicians do, and they don't intend to do anything, but they want to satisfy the demands of the constituency. That commission is going to do nothing ultimately.
Thank you.
And none of them will. And the reason for that is that the reason they won't do anything is because President Trump appointed a number of judges, particularly the Supreme Court, that have made it illegal to give race-based reparations to anybody.
Well, yeah. So Trump made it illegal to give race-based reparations to anybody.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to Trump for that. Let's you know what I'm saying? Take your hat off to Trump for that. So he thinks that that's a negative thing for us. That's actually a good thing. You know who that's bad for? That's bad for tethers like him. See, if it was race-based, that means everybody who's black would be able to get reparations. That means the Africans that just got over here, the Caribbeans that just got over here, somebody could fly over from Brazil, get reparations for American slavery. Nuh-uh. Nope. So Trump actually did us a solid by saying no race-based reparations. And since they're going to start talking about the Japanese and stuff like that, let me explain something to you. The Japanese didn't get race-based reparations either. If they got race-based reparations, that would mean that all Asians would be eligible for those reparations. That means that somebody from the Philippines that was here in the 60s or in the 80s, when the actual reparations for the Japanese were dispersed, that means that they would have qualified. That means the Vietnamese would have qualified. That means that somebody from Thailand would have qualified. That means really somebody from India. India, their race is Asian. See, Japanese isn't the race. That's the lineage, particularly those who came from the lineage of those who were put in encampments during World War II. So race-based reparations not being on the table, that's a positive for us. Because that means that just because you're black, you don't qualify. This is why we're delineating and making sure that we understand our lineage. It's lineage-based reparations that we're seeking, not race-based. Lineage-based, meaning if your family was here during the antebellum slave trade, if your ancestors were the ones who built this country under enslavement, that's who qualifies. Not some Caribbean who just got here in the 90s or in 2005. No. Yes, you racially you are black like me, but your lineage doesn't go to the killing fields of the South or even the North in the United States. So what he doesn't understand is this isn't bad for us, it's bad for him. Which is why they're against the reparations in the first place, because we said from the jump, it's specifically for ADOS or FBAs, American descendants of slavery, descendants of American slavery, foundational black Americans. It just so happens that the lineage of those who built this country happen to be of the black race, but it doesn't include the whole black race. So that constitutional move that Trump made actually is beneficial to us because it cuts the riffraff out the way. It makes the tethers ineligible. Do you think that if they knew that they were eligible, they would be going against it this hard? They love handouts. They would love to be able to benefit from our ancestors' work. They did it because they're here, right? They benefit from the wealth that was built by our ancestors. That's why they fled here. They were only able to flee here because of the work that our ancestors did to loosen up the borders for them. So they have no problem benefiting from our sacrifice. So do you think if they were able, if they thought that they could finesse their way into reparations, you think they'd be against it? Hell no. They act like they're African American when they're filling out different applications to get, government entitled, what I'm saying, food stamps or whatever, Section 8 or whatever. So they definitely don't mind benefiting from our work. So of course, if they were eligible for reparations, they'd be all on it. They'd be all on board. They would truly be trying to help us instead of undermine us. So he thought he really ate with that. Oh, see, no race-based reparations. Nah, you're not paying attention. And I get it because it's really not it's not your conversation anyway. So I get why you would miss the nuance like that. I get why you wouldn't understand the context of what's being said like that, because of course you're not even privy outside of the internet of having these discussions with us. So you thought you were eating like, see niggas, I told you. You think you're taking a victory lap right now. Joke's on you. The joke is on you, man.
My lord, something I've done about the mouth half of a table. I take food out of a mouth. I can believe it. The man them all try to take food. I want them man I can believe it. The man them all try to take food out of a mouth half of a table.
My lord,
something
must be done about them, man. Something must be done about these niggas, man. Because they really think that, you know what I'm saying? They're just not like us.
Yeah. So that's a very big obstacle in the way right now.
It's an obstacle for who? For y'all? It's an obstacle for y'all to tether to our reparations claims? Yeah, it is. And we're going to see to it that obstacle remains in place. Yes, they said no race-based reparations. Who cares? So what? Asians didn't get race-based reparations. Or excuse me, the Japanese didn't get race-based. They got lineage-based. And it took them 40 years before they were able to get those reparations. What happened to them happened in the 40s. They didn't get reparations till the 80s. And it wasn't race-based. It wasn't for all Asians. It was only specifically for those that were put in encampments in the 40s. The Chinese weren't eligible for those reparations, even though they're the same race. You get it? You understand now? So yes, no race-based reparations. The Jews didn't get quote unquote reparations based on race. They got it based on lineage. A Russian couldn't come here and get those same reparations unless they were of the lineage of those who went through what they went through because of Hitler. You get it? It's lineage based. We are of the lineage of foundational Black Americans, of those who actually built this particular country. That's our lineage, and that is the base for our reparations claims. So no, that's not an obstacle at all. At all. Not in the least. In fact, that was what we were saying from the jump. We started this reparations conversation by separating from people who were of the same race, but not the same lineage. That's what the ADOS, that's what the FBA was about from the beginning. Because we aren't pursuing race-based reparations. If we were, you would be eligible and you would probably be taking a different stance and you'd probably be shutting the fuck up or trying to help us get these damn reparations, but you're not. Even though it would benefit your woman, you don't care about that because you're selfish, because you're a tether. That's how you guys were built. Even though it would benefit your children, you don't really care about that because you're selfish, because that's what's in your DNA and lineage. You can't even conceive the way we think. You can't conceive what we intend to manifest. It'd be like trying to explain to somebody what a cell phone could do in the 1920s. It's just inconceivable to you. Like, what? You could talk to somebody all the way in Vermont. It's not conceivable to you. You don't have any dubs. You have running shoes and a bus pass or a boat pass, a boat ticket. That's what's in your DNA. So I get it. I get it.
And this is where I started leaning towards my point where I was explaining with liberation that, yeah, well, maybe y'all need to flip this thing on its head and maybe we need to join y'all. Because let's be real, y'all making
these everybody in the chat, man. Make sure y'all like this, man. Help the algorithms out.
Kennedy, a whole politician is being real with y'all right now and telling y'all that's not gonna work, bro. Like, as much as y'all want it to work, as much awareness as you want.
Look at, he has all the little cute little sound effects queued up. Like he's taking a victory lap right now. He's really like on some, you guys aren't gonna get your reparations, shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, listen, I'll have the discussion. I'll bring him back, or I'll go back to his thing. We'll have a discussion. But I'm glad that you did this video, dog, because I was starting to lean towards getting a little bit too kumbaya, and you put it back in perspective. You know what I'm saying? You reminded me once again, you know, that when it comes to you and your lineage compared to FBA, they just not like us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, let's be real, FBA family. Let's be real. I know that we've been on this delineation. We're going to be real. We're going to be vulnerable. Let's get vulnerable for a minute, y'all. We family. Let's get vulnerable for a minute. Let's go ahead and do that. Look, if we're going to be real, we love our Caribbean and our African brothers and sisters. Let's be real. We do. It hurts that we have to give them this work. It hurts that they don't see things the way we see it. It hurts that they don't reciprocate the same efforts that we have continuously made to help build them up, to embrace them, and they don't do the same. It hurts. But at this point, this is not a hate. We just have to really distinguish who's who. We tried to make this shit work. So my instincts was to try to kumbaya and think that, oh man, okay, we can get on some type of understanding, which in the conversation yesterday, if you watched the video that I posted, or if you watched it up on his channel, you could even get the context of what he was saying before I joined the conversation. I encourage you to do that. So, you know, at the end of the discussion, we did come to, you know, we were able to civilly engage. We were able to kumbaya and piece it out and dap it up and blah, blah, blah. But maybe that was a little bit premature because I don't really see his energy of being that of which is really trying to assist us and back what we're doing, unfortunately. Am I opening the panel? Man, okay, here's what I'll do, man, because I'm not on StreamYard. I'm on this other. I'm going to see if I'll put a link up there. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if you have to have the same browser I'm using, but I'll put it up there, man. It is compatible with Chrome, so maybe you still will be able to pull up. Let's go ahead and get to that. I'm going to put it out there, though. I can't guarantee it's going to work because, like I said, I'm not on StreamYard. But anyway, yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? We want to be, what was I gonna say, man? What I'm saying is, you know, we're compelled to want to work things out. That's why we held on to Pan-Africanism for so long. We just seeing that it's not, and it would be different. Like I would be able to take some of the criticism better in a different way if it was coming from a place of sincerity of actually really trying to assist in what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I can't take political strategy, like I'm not going to listen to somebody who fled, and I'm definitely not going to listen to somebody and have the conversation with somebody who I don't feel sincerely has the same goals. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're trying to take this information. Oh, bam, you up in here. Because it's like you're trying to take this information just so you can run with it, so you can neutralize it. I see you, Don P. Okay, bam.
Yeah, what's good? Can you hear me clearly, man? Mic check.
Yeah. Let me make sure.
Okay.
This is, let me make sure that you're being heard on the thing on the stream.
All right.
Let me see.
Mic check. Mic check.
Yeah. You coming through?
All right, cool.
Let me see if it's being heard on the thing on the panel though.
Mic check. Oh.
Yep. You in the game, baby. What's up?
Yeah, it was good, man. You know what? You're absolutely right, man. As far as like in terms of us being vulnerable for a minute, a lot of us who quote unquote became conscious, like we came into the idea, the first ideology most of us picked up was Pan-Africanism. Whether a lot of us want to admit it or not, you know, that's just the truth of the matter. And with that said, we realized that for the most part, it was only us, Black Americans, practicing that. And when we got to see that other foreigners wasn't really on that type of wave and in large groups, yeah, you'll see like, you know, pockets of them, maybe one or two, or, you know, it wasn't enough to where it did anything. And it made us feel like, damn, like, not only are y'all not with it, but we starting to, and not only are we ignoring like the disrespect or the little sly remarks, it's coming into a fact where y'all starting to undermine us.
Right.
And that hurts us. And that's where the hostility is coming from. Right. And I can't speak for any other person, but for me personally, that's where it's coming from. Because it's like I wasn't raised up to where my mother told me not to rock with y'all because y'all this, that, and the other. And as far as like these Tethers,
hold up. You said that you weren't raised to not fuck with them? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I wasn't raised to not fuck with them. I wasn't raised to not fuck with them.
Right.
Like, you know, we
I don't
looked
think
at them
any
as
of us
black.
was. I don't think any of us was, really.
Exactly. That's not in our DNA to do that, right? That's not in our parents' DNA to do that. Now, even me being from New York, even though I've seen pockets to where other families, or, you know, whether they Jamaican or whatever, you know, the mothers and the fathers will feel some type of way and you know, give us attitude because we're Black American. You know, we used to look past that. You know, comedians back in the day with Def Comedy Jam, they used to tell jokes about that. Like we thought that was nothing. It was lighthearted until they got into politics and until they started speaking for us. That's when it started to become serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't want to cut you off, but because the difference is like we could have the little different skirmishes and differences, and we just going back and forth talking some shit. That's one thing. But then when it comes to you're sabotaging what we're trying to do, even though you benefit of everything that we've already done, now it's a whole different level. Like you said, we weren't raised to like, oh, okay, be careful those Jamaicans. Hey, be careful those like we weren't raised like that. So the family matter, and the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liars.
Right.
You know?
And you know, they try to say that, well, y'all used to joke at us on school, y'all used to chop like that. We do that and that's our culture. We play the dozens. That's what we do. Everybody get joked on. If you in 100-degree weather with a turtleneck on, wearing, you know, crazy boots, you finna get joked on. Like it is what it is.
Right.
And nobody's exempt from that. So for y'all, for the Tethers out there to single that out as, yeah, like that doesn't make sense to me at all. But you are absolutely right with your whole broadcast, man. I seen that you was trying to meet a middle ground with dude. and I seen that you was sincere in that approach. And I'm glad that you was trying to do that, but at the same time, I'm also glad that you spent the block and really seen what this dude is for. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
The dude is he's not sincere. He's disingenuous as hell, and I'm not feeling that. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I'm not feeling that, and that's the thing. We're not about hate. That's the foundational Black Americans. We're not about hate. That's not what we preach. But we don't stand for disrespect. That's just what it is.
Right. Yeah, and like what do you think? What do you think the reason is? Like I'm thinking like if you really think about how they came up or they came from, like they feel like it's a blessing just to be here, so they don't really want to fight for more. They don't understand the struggle that we actually put in. They don't understand the context of it because they don't have a CJ Madam Walker that they can hold up from their homeland. They don't have, you know what I'm saying, globally recognized innovators and cultural participators that the whole world looks up to. They didn't create industries where they came from. So they don't understand when we're saying, no, we want what's ours. It's not a handout. To them, it would be a handout, right? Like everything else they get, it would be a handout. To us, it's just them. It's just a debt being paid back to us because rightfully we should already be multimillionaires. We should have inherited wealth from our parents and their parents and their parents.
That is a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. I was dating I won't even say I was dating the Jamaican chick. I was, courting a Jamaican chick, and we had this type of discussion. And she said something that rattled me a little bit. She was like, "Well, Black Americans, y'all really don't have culture like we do." And I asked her, I was like, "Yo, what make you think that?" She was just like, "We do things differently in Jamaica." And I told her, I was like, "Oh, like the way you talk, your accent, the slang you use, the way you dance. I'm quite sure you don't eat jerk chicken every day. Like the things you eat that comes from foundational Black Americans, right?" And she said, "No, that comes from Americans." So it's one of those things to where they cut their nose to spite their face. That's what they do. And my thing is like we the minority of the population, but we always fight. That's what we do. We fight for everything that we get. And I asked her, and this maybe it sounded petty on my end, but I asked her, I was like, how are y'all considered one of the most violent islands in the world? And y'all make up 80% of the population out there, but only 20% of the Asians and the whites that come over there control the entire economy over there. Why didn't y'all take that in blood?
Right. And listen, and those be the same ones that's telling us that we should just launch a military coup on the United States government, but they're 80% of the population. They're killing each other. They talk about black on black crime. What the fuck you think's going on in Jamaica? You think it's going on in all these other countries? And they're not, and none of that is aimed towards the minority that is controlling their resources.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And she tried to pull the Chicago thing on me, and I told her to look at the numbers. She said when she looked at the numbers and the population it was in Chicago, she was shocked because the way how propaganda situates Chicago, they made it seem though as though Chicago's a war zone all over Chicago when the black people over there only make up 24% of the population. They're the minority of that population, but they make up damn near 90% of the crime. The math ain't mathing.
Here's what it is, and you're right. I'm glad you said that because I did the numbers years ago when it comes first of all when it comes to black on black crime. First of all people commit crime amongst themselves at about the same rate. Meaning that white people victimize themselves at the same rate, Asians, Hispanics, all that. They just don't use the terminology white on white crime. I've done the numbers. And here's another numbers I've done. I've done the numbers on the crime. Crime has been, when crime significantly, especially in our communities, went down?
When was that?
It was the same year the Million Man March happened. When you look at the crime rates after the Million Man March, it is not just down, it is way down in our communities. It's overreported, but crime across the board is actually down the last 30 years. Right. Across the board, it's down. It's overreported, So the narrative is that there's all this crime happening, but in reality, the crime ain't criming higher than it was in the early 90s.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right. And then here's another stat that I looked up. Another stat that they like to use against us. They say that there's more black men in prison than in college. That is not a fact at all. There's twice as many black men in college than there is in prison, state prison, and that includes state prison and federal prison, county jails, and city jails. If you take all of those numbers and combine them, there's still twice as many black men in college than those numbers.
You know what? I'm gonna look that up for myself, and I'm quite sure that's right. And how they try to trick people is with the percentage.
I'm about to find it right now. I'm about to pull it up.
Oh yeah, they be trying to trick people with percentages. That's how they be trying to trick people when they bring when some people bring up stats to justify their narratives. They bring up percentages, but from what it sounds like, what you did was you did the raw numbers.
What I did is I went to the Department of Education, broke it down by race. Then I went to the Department of Prison Statistics and compared them. But somebody else did the same thing. Let me see something, man. Are there more U.S. black men in college or prison? Let me see what this one's saying.
Yeah, if you could post a link up on the chat, that would be perfect. So I had that for reference. You know, whenever somebody says something crazy like that, that's something I could directly pull up.
No, let me find these numbers, man. Yeah, because I looked up these numbers in like 2019 or something like that. There's more. There's twice as many of us in college than in prison, man. And I'm gonna find the numbers, but hold on, where's it at?
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
And then so another talking point that these white supremacists use, they use that 1350. You heard about that?
Nah, what's that all about?
So the 1350, you'll see this on Twitter a lot, where these white supremacists, they'll be like, oh yeah, well 13% of the population, that's us, commit over 50% of over 50% of the crime.
Oh, the percentage thing.
But that's not really the facts. That's not what the actual article from the FBI says. What they actually say is we're accused of 50% of the crime, but 67% of the exonerations are of us. So what does that tell you? So if 67% of all exonerations are of black people, that means that we were overcharged and charged for shit that we didn't do.
Over-criminalized. Yeah, for sure. That's a fact. That's a fact. Somebody tried to pull that on me, and I was like, yo, if only four black people.
I got it. All right, here it is. Here's the truth. The census estimates that approximately 18 million people in the U.S. population are black males of all ages. In 2013, 1.4 million were in college, according to the National Center of Educational Statistics. The Bureau of Justice Statistics National Prison Statistic Programs reported that in the same year, 500,000 were in state or federal prisons. And as of mid-2013, 200,000 were in local jails, making it 745,000 behind bars. So 745,000 behind bars, 1.4 in college. Well, you do the math. That's a 2-to-1 differential, right?
Yeah,
there's twice as many in college than in all of the jails, not just prison. If you want to just say prison, then we'd say there's almost 3 times as many in college than in prison. But if you want to add the local jails and the county jails, then we still double up. So that's, I'm glad I found that. So the math ain't mathing. It's cap.
Yeah, so definitely.
But when I was in college, some other numbers that I came up with, I just want to break down some of these things, man. So when it comes to drug use, black people and white people use drugs at about the same rate. White people use it actually at a higher rate, a little bit, like maybe 2% higher rate. But black people get 60% longer sentences for the same crime, and they're 4 times more likely to be arrested of drug crimes compared to the dominant society. So the overcriminalization makes that 1350 sound like we're the ones out there causing all the ruckus. But in reality, those are just the accusations. That's not convicted for crimes. So in other words, if we're exonerated at 67%, or 67% of the exonerations are us, that means we ain't committing close to 50% of the crimes. That's just these talking points. And unfortunately, these tethers use those talking points. Those are the same type of talking points that they use. Go ahead.
I said they don't tell the whole truth. That, like what you just displayed right there, shows me a further confirmed to me that white supremacy does play a factor in a lot of things, because that, again, we do get over criminalized, and then white supremacists come and tethers come and give this talking point as if we're the criminals, we're the bad guys, and at the end of the day, we're just being overly criminalized.
Exactly.
You could be arrested for blasting music.
Right. Remember, we used to get arrested if we were laughing in public. That was a crime.
Crazy.
Like they criminalize who we are, what we do, to the point to where, yeah, of course we're going to be over criminalized, and then we get longer sentences for the same crimes. Then we get arrested for the same crimes at a 4 times higher rate, even though we do less drugs proportionately than white people do. So come on, man.
I'll make a pivot real quick before you go. You made a brilliant point about how I got a phone call in the middle of your broadcast. I wasn't able to listen to the whole context of it, but what I think you said was, even if they don't give us our reparations right now, we're brilliant people. You said something about the real McCoy, to where, we're going to be in direct competition to white supremacists, and everything that we typically build and do is better. It has always been better. And that would be bad on their part, because the whole idea of integration hurting us was the fact that we left our own industries to integrate with society. Back then we did have our own schools. Back then we had way more black businesses than we have now. Not because we wanted to, we had no choice but to. We had no choice but to have each other's back. We had no choice but to do these things. And now it's getting to a point to where we're seeing in real time, okay, we are on code fighting for reparations. Yeah, they don't want to give us that right now. That doesn't mean that reparations is off the table. We're going to fight for that. We're going to continue to fight for that. That's just in our DNA. But in the meantime, while we're fighting for that, we're going to build our own infrastructures. We're going to build our own communities. We're going to learn to trust one another a lot more.
Right.
And that right there, that's very significant to me. So I appreciate that's a great point. If that's the point you made, man.
That is the point I made. And like a lot of people, what they'll try to gaslight us, and they'll be like, "Oh, you guys are just begging for reparations." Well, you could be doing. We're doing that. I mean, that's part of what this delineation is. We're getting codified and solidified with us as a group first. It's not out of hate for any other groups. It's because we understand that is survival. You know what I'm saying? So yes, so we could fight for reparations and still learn how to aggregate our money again, learn how to have that brotherly love for each other again, learn how to support our own businesses again, fall back and maybe start banking black again, one united. Like we could do 2 things at once. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, it's a competition. So for us to understand the importance of us falling back and the ability of us being able to meet our own needs, that creates competition, because if we start dominating industries and creating products and services, not just for ourselves, but that can go on the open market, well, people typically gravitate towards what we do because we typically do it better. You know what I'm saying? That's not no cap. That's not no hate. I'm just saying, like, if Elijah McCoy's products were desired by even white folks because they understood that the level of what word am I looking for? The level of precision was better. It was a better product.
Oh yeah, that's why they slap black faces on certain products, like Uncle Ben's rice and Aunt Jemima's syrup. You know what I mean? Like that.
Popeye's chicken.
It gives the fact of this is quality right there. Mm-hmm. A black person did it. This is quality. You want to get this.
Right.
You know,
So exactly. So that and that's why at the root of it, yeah, these folks don't want to give us the reparations because it's going to level the playing field. And there, as much as they act like it's a merit system, and you guys are DEI, that's the only reason why. No, that's bullshit. We've never benefited just because we're black. Let's stop it. We benefit because of what we do. You know what I'm saying? The only people who's benefited based on race has been them. Right. They get the leg up. They get the job just because. We don't get that. We have to be the best at what we do. So that means there's going to be competition. If the wealth gap closes because we get what's due to us reparations wise, we're able to build our wealth up. Like, remember, the most common way for wealth to be transferred is home ownership. We've been locked out of home ownership longer than we haven't.
That's a fact. I looked that up. Yup, that's a fact. And people don't realize that.
So if we're able to close that wealth gap, my bad, but if we're able to close that wealth gap, that means there's going to be competition. That means that we're going to be able to create businesses, products, and services that they're going to have to compete with. And if we look at what we've been able to do proportionally in the past, whether it's sports, whether it's innovations and inventions, we have been the ones that have invented at a disproportionate level, straight out of slavery. We were inventing shit. Like the first aircraft was engineered by a former slave, man. Right. So of course they're not going to be able to compete. That means that they're going to lose money. And if they lose, and if their economics start to, be taken over by us, that means their ability for building military is diminished, whether that's local military like police or international military like the army. It means that their ability to control infrastructure and industry diminishes. You know what I'm saying? It means we'll be able to do more international business. We'll be able to build wealth and power. And that includes political power, because that means now we could run our own candidates. We'll have the money to be able to boost them up. We'll be able to buy politicians. We'll be able to, navigate through the political system in a way that's beneficial to us. And all those things go against the dominant society, not because we're anti-white, but just because we're going to implement a system of justice, which means that the benefits and advantages they have start to diminish. And because these tethers are looking, to get a pat on the head from them, it means that they lose their position as the model token minority.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more with everything that you said, because we're at a point right now to where, a lot of us are so on code, and we're rallying behind tangibles, for our specific communities. Now, even people who's on the fence, even Black Americans who's on the fence about what we're fighting for, they see in real time, like, damn, we holding politicians' feet to the fire. We're actually demanding something tangible. We're not going for slogans no more. We're not going for what's that term?
Symbolism.
You know what I mean? We're not.
Symbolism.
Yeah, symbolisms. Yeah, symbolisms. We're not going for that no more. And the fact that these politicians are still ignoring us, they see what we're saying, obviously, but the fact that they're practicing benign neglect, like you said, that's gonna force us into a position to where we're gonna compete directly with them. So either way, it's a lose-lose for them. Whether you give us our reparations or not, and I want to make this clear, we still gonna fight for reparations no matter what, because it's owed to us. I've never been in a situation. Yeah, it's ours. I've never been in a situation to where somebody owed me money and I'll be like, yo, never mind, I'm gonna charge that to the game. No, I'm petty. I need that money.
Well, not only that. So when it comes to the benign neglect, the leverage we have on that politically is the strategy that we've been trying to implement, which is holding our vote. Because no matter who loses, right, the margin that they lose could have been covered by us.
That's a fact. We swing vote. Yep.
Exactly. So like if the Democrats lose, they're gonna understand whether they admit it or not. So like right now, they don't really want to admit it. They don't really want to admit that we're right, especially because these talking points and this strategy has come from the grassroots. It didn't come from some Democratic think tank. You know what I'm saying? And we've said this, and now we're proving it. So they ain't gonna admit it off top. But after this election, if we hold our vote, whoever loses is gonna know that they could have covered that spread if they would have engaged with us. whether it's Republicans or Democrats. They're going to understand the difference of them winning and losing could have been covered if they would have got our support. That's going to make them have to go back to the drawing board, because that's going to show real time consequences for their benign neglect.
And you know what? I think they know that, and I think that's the reason why.
No, they do know that, but they're gonna have to feel that. They know that. They're gonna have to feel that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to feel it. Exactly. They talking about right now, putting out Biden and trying to pander, trying to get Kamala Harris and using the whole, black sister card on us, where
that ain't gonna work.
She's not one of us. She's not like us. So
that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
That's not gonna work.
Nobody. First of all, that's not gonna work for two reasons. Number one, nobody really trusts or likes Kamala Harris.
Nope.
For real. She couldn't even get out of the primaries with any kind of leverage. She had to drop out quick. Not only that, I hate to say it, but even women don't trust women in leadership. If we're gonna be real, they don't.
That's a fact.
Hillary would have won. There's more women voters. There's more women voters than male voters. They don't trust themselves in leadership.
That's a fact. They'll say it. They'll go on the news and say it, but
they'll feminism, this and that first, this and that. But when it comes to pulling that lever, they don't really want to see it. They don't, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. It wouldn't work. Michelle Obama would have a better chance because she's at least more liked. She's more likable. But even she wouldn't really work. She wouldn't work.
You think they're hoping for the older generation amongst us to still? They're hoping and wishing on a prayer that they still have some type of influence on us, like back in the old days with the Rolly Martins and the Tom Journers and the dying radio shows.
They're getting desperate. They're getting desperate enough to platform them and try to see and do a test run. But I think the new black media and the grassroots neutralize them to the point to where it won't work. I mean, it's a Hail Mary attempt at this point because of Biden, saying that sorry ass display of debate that he did. So at this point, and because they know that we are pulling back from them, so they'll try. You know what I'm saying? They might try to platform Roland Martin and give him some money so he could have more reach. But just like they're going to see that they need our participation in order to win the election, they're going to see that their platformed puppets don't have the leverage or the influence to really move us. We've already delineated from them that type of media. Right now, the media is in social media. It's in these platforms on the internet that are really moving the people. It's the young people are more gravitating towards the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Twitters more than network television. So they just don't have that influence, and especially these puppets that we've already neutralized through the new black media, through the Jason Blacks, the Professor Black Truths, the Tariq Nasheeds and such. We've already neutralized them to where they're going to try a Hail Mary, but it's going to fall flat.
Right. And what I said in my comment section about, foreigners, again, a tether is nothing but an off-code foreigner. That's what a tether is. If you off-code,
that's a good definition.
That's literally what it is, right? So if you're a foreigner, if you're on the fence, if you really don't know what this movement is about, I would say don't look at random clips and then make judgments based off of that. Because typically we're in a space now to where we're defending ourselves from disrespect. Look at the whole video in its entirety. Check out the whole entire video of Jay Dizzle's videos. Liberation Minded Media is that's your channel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, check out the whole video of Liberation Minded Media. So when he says tether, look at it in this whole context. Don't think, well, I must be a tether because I'm not from America. You could be a rider. If you're a foreigner and you're a rider, that doesn't make you a tether. But if you're a foreigner black person and you come through and you undermine us, of course, that makes you a tether. But if you're going around looking at random clips of people saying tether and going at Jamaica, going at different islands and just going hard on Africa, look at the video in its entirety. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where disrespect will be met with disrespect, right? If you come respectful, we're gonna treat you respectful, and it comes across the board. And also watch out for the people who muddies the waters, like Mike TV and others like him. He's not the only one. There's a few people like him who comes through under the guise of peace and then muddies the waters to create chaos on some agentish, man. But
Speaking of, I can't even let you continue before I say this.
okay,
Speaking of the Mike TV, like I remember when you pulled up, I think you and was it Top Flight TV pulled up.
Yeah.
And y'all told me Mike TV was Fugazi. I was trying to give him benefit of the doubt, and y'all was right. And he came in like a Trojan horse. He came in talking the talking points, talking that slang, you know what I'm saying, acting like he was with us. And really now we see exactly what he's like. We see exactly what it is.
But you know what though? I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's what lets me know you're a real one, because instead of you running towards the drama head first or for hearsay, you're the type of person that gotta see for yourself, right? And I respect that. So even when you was defending Mike TV, when we said what we said, I respected that, as opposed to somebody who, you know, went over to somebody else's page and be like, yo, this person said this about you, and they'll just, you know, jump out the window with it like, I heard you did this. You ain't do that. That lets me know like you're a real one and you're not for the drama. You basically you're on the mission. You know what I mean? I'm saying it stuttering like body, but you're on the mission, bro. You know what I mean? You doing what you do, man. I respect that, man. For real, for real. I appreciate you going that to Harker Bay. I appreciate you bigging up who you bigging up. And even when you disagree with people, it's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of it's constructive. And that's what it's all about. This is not an echo chamber that we in. You know what I mean? All of us got different thoughts, different ideas. But
and
as long as it's
I don't
coming
think
from
everybody can understand that, because like what we're trying to do is bigger than us, right? It's big.
Right.
What our mission is bigger than me as an individual. You feel me?
Right.
Like Tariq Nasheed's already a millionaire. He don't have to be doing some of the shit he's doing. He understands that the mission is bigger than him. We understand as New Black Media, as FBAs, for those of us that are on code, we understand it's bigger than us. So therefore, we can't let petty differences. There's things I don't agree. There's things I 100% disagree about that Tariq Nasheed has said that I 100% disagree. But it's not bigger than the mission. It's not big enough of a disagreement that we may have that makes me throw everything else away that he did. Elijah Muhammad, there's some things I didn't agree with, but does that mean that the mission of what he was trying to do doesn't matter? Okay, he had some extra marital affairs. None of them were underage, by the way. Never was that actual, you know, what was said against them, even though some detractors said that. Bottom line is, we're not going to always agree. We don't have to always agree. But is our mission bigger? Because these Tethers missions are only selfish missions. It's only for self-gain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to them, they can throw everything under, you know what I'm saying? Like Mike TV wants to get views. He wants to get donations. So to him, anything that's in the way of that, that's an enemy. You know what I'm saying? So he can turn his head on Tariq Nasheed. He could turn his back. Oh, Tariq Nasheed didn't straight up clown Umar Johnson. See, he's weak. I told you he's compromised. Nah, Tariq Nasheed, he could clown Umar Johnson. He's not going to do it on somebody else's platform that's messy. He's not going to say that. He's not going to say that, oh, yeah, well, if he's in a situation where white supremacists are gaffling him up, of course he doesn't want to see that happen, man. What kind of people you think we are? You know what I'm saying? We don't want to see that. And because we don't want to see that doesn't mean that we're compromised. It just means that we're codified enough to understand when to attack, when not to attack, when to, you know, like the whole O.J. Simpson. We know O.J. Simpson's a coon.
Yeah.
Right? We know. And here, you know what? I'm going to say this about O.J. Simpson. He was a coon, but he wasn't a detriment. He didn't go against us. He just didn't ride for us, right?
Right.
He didn't purposely go against us, but he passed. We know that the white media is going to attack him. And we know that them attacking him isn't just them attacking him. It's attacking us by proxy. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and just to return that energy, just to dissipate their hate energy, we're going to celebrate and be like, nah, fuck that. He was set up. First of all, he was innocent. He went to the court of law. Second of all, he ran for 2,000 goddamn yards, motherfucker. We're going to go ahead and celebrate this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because we know you're going to hate on him, and we have to be in the habit of knowing when to pull back, when to attack our own when they deserve it, when to protect them, even if, you know what I'm saying, he's not a writer. We're not going to let you guys diminish this man in
Right,
depth.
right. Because it's bigger than you as an individual. Another example is that I seen when I don't know if you remember the Phil Donahue show when Khalid Muhammad was on it.
Of
And
course.
you know that was during the time when Khalid and Louis Farrakhan, they had their riff. And Phil
Yes.
Donahue asked him, "What do you think of Louis Farrakhan that he excommunicated you from the Nation of Islam?" And this is what showed me what being on code was all about. And this is me as a youngin. When Khalid Muhammad said, I'm not finna tell you." I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "I'm not finna tell you. Even if I did feel something, I wouldn't tell you." Or I wouldn't say it in front of you. I wouldn't say it
Right.
on your show.
Right.
Like, why would I do that? I'm not gonna denigrate that brother on your platform, basically.
Right.
And that right there, that's what I got from Tariq when he said what he said about Umar on somebody else's
Right.
platform. You
Right.
gonna big him up, whether
Right.
they got a beef or not. Like I would think it would be off code. Like
Yeah.
people got it mixed up. Like Tariq Nasheed is the leader, right? And he's not. The code is the leader.
The code is the
Everybody is
leader.
beholden to the code. So
They
if
don't get that.
Tariq, exactly. So even if Tariq would have criticized Dr. Umar Johnson on other people's platform, despite how I personally feel about Umar, I myself would have been like, "Yo, that's off code, bro.
Right.
There's no way around that." Because if you're gonna do it on your own platform or do it on
Right.
your own
And
time. But
especially to do it on a platform of somebody who's bigging them up and actually has something that they benefit from Umar's message. You know what I'm saying? Why would you dissipate that? Why would you dissipate that? If he's getting something and he has respect for Umar, why are you going to shit on him? That's not a good look, and that would be off code.
That would be, man. That would be, man. But you obviously you on code, man. You a rider, man. I really appreciate that, though. For real. Yeah, your channel may not be as big as the others, but at the end of the day, we know that you solid, bro. And your work speaks for itself, man. So I appreciate you, Jay Dizzle. For real, man.
I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna close this out, man. But I appreciate you pulling up. I appreciate your encouragement, man, and recognizing real shit. So, and I'm man, I didn't even know you was gonna be able to come up on this. I'm glad
I didn't
you
know
was.
neither, man. It seems like it's better than StreamYard, man.
It is. I mean, it's a Brave browser. It's a whole different browser. It's like Chrome, but it's a Brave browser. That's the name of it. And it's smoother. It's faster. It's better. It has this built-in StreamYard type of thing. I'm only familiar with it because of crypto, because it's built by a company that is in the crypto industry. So they don't track
crypto channel,
huh? I got my crypto
said,
channel, man. They took down one of my channels, so the new one I got only has like a couple hundred people. I still do. I ain't did a video for. I mean, I did a video maybe a few days ago, but
is there a way
anyway,
for you to plug
that's
that
how I
in
learned
again,
about
man?
this bread. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Is there a way for you to plug that in, man? I want to check that out, man. Yeah, your crypto channel. It's different from this channel, right?
Yeah.
Like you talking about cryptocurrency?
Yep. And I don't talk about it like buy this, it's gonna make you rich. I talk about it from like the perspective of these are the stories that are going on. This is what the technology allows you to do, because we could really use it. And hey, you know what the interesting thing about real crypto cats, not the ones that are just like, you're gonna get rich, buy this coin. And nah, I'm not talking about that. I don't do that. But the real thing about it is crypto is ran by the code. That's what you trust. We trust the code. You know what I'm saying? Because like a bank, it's ran by people who could be subjective, who could be biased. Crypto is all code. If I send you this, you're getting it. They're not going to be like, oh, you can only do it between these hours, or, oh, no, that's too much, or, hey, who is this person? No, it's just the code. It's anonymous. You don't have to put your personal information. It's just the code. If you want to put your money in a thing that gets you 8%, it's just the code that's running it. That's what we trust. So I mean, it's kind of interesting how those two dynamics kind of match up. I actually had a conversation with Jason Black. He's definitely anti-crypto. You know, say that's my nigga, but he's 100% anti-Bitcoin. We went back and forth on Facebook, and I love Jason Black, man. Let me say that.
I peeped that. I peeped that. Yeah, I peeped that he's against it.
I
But
love
me,
Jason Black,
I'm
but
open
he
minded
doesn't
enough to
really
learn
know.
about
He
anything.
doesn't really
Yeah,
understand it. He's more of an old school. He doesn't really
yeah.
understand it enough to really whatever. So I can respect that.
I see me myself, I know it's real because I do like the whole PC gaming thing. And when I went to go buy it was like a video card for my PC. The computer guys was like, yo, our video cards is out, our high-end video cards is out. And I said, why? He saying, yo, it's that crypto shit. Everybody's buying these video cards for this crypto. And I was like, yo, it's like that. He said,
For
yeah,
mining.
bro.
You mean for mining?
Yeah, for mining.
Yeah.
And he told me that. I was like, bro, if it's like that for real, I might need to get into that shit, man.
I mean, here's what I would say, man, because I would never tell you what to invest in. All you have to do is just learn. If you just learn about Bitcoin, not from a perspective of it's going to make you rich, a perspective of what it is and why it is. Because when you learn that, when you put in enough time of learning about Bitcoin, you're going to learn way more about economics than you ever thought that you would learn. Like you're going to really understand why the dollar is falling. You're going to understand that. You're going to understand what the blockchain technology is, not just the crypto, and you're going to get rich. You're going to understand what the technology is capable of. And then you're going to then you'll make your own decisions. Then you'll understand what to do with it and how to run with it yourself. So I ain't got to tell you this crypto is going to make you rich. Nah. Don't think of it as no get rich quick. Learn about it because you'll understand the technology. Blockchain is really just a ledger. It's an unhackable ledger. For instance, I send money from one bank to another bank. It takes me about 3 to 5 business days, right? If I want to send money from one account to another bank, it's going to take 3 to 5 business days. Now, did the bank send a courier to pick up that money and drive it to my other bank? No. Nobody. Like if I send you $500 from my bank account to yours, nobody's coming to my bank, picking up that 500, driving it to your bank and depositing it. All they're doing is updating a ledger.
Oh, okay.
That's all they're doing. Blockchain technology does that automatically through the code. It's not somebody having to push a button when they get to work Monday. It's just a more efficient ledger system at the end of the day. And on that ledger, yes, you could have bank records, you could have a record of account for the crypto, but you could also you could vote on the blockchain. You could do product tracking on the blockchain. You could do medical records on the blockchain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
go ahead.
And one more thing about the blockchain.
Go ahead, brother.
And I'm gonna show you, like, this is why it could actually work for us as a people. Okay, you know who Tory Lanez is?
Yeah. The
rapper?
Yeah, Tory Lanez, yeah. The dude they claim shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot on the foot.
Yeah. Well, guess what he did before they went against him?
Nah, what did he do?
He created an album. You heard of NFTs, right?
Yeah, I heard of NFTs. Yeah.
So
Nipsey Hussle was doing that before he died. Yeah.
Man, Nipsey Hussle was heavy in the crypto.
Oh yeah.
He was heavy in it. He understood it early.
He was definitely promoting it for real.
He understood it early. I got some clips of him talking about it. Like, he was a genius. But anyway, so NFTs, a lot of people think of NFTs as just a picture. It's not. A picture could be an NFT, but an NFT is not a picture, if that makes sense. So an NFT could be anything. An NFT could be video, it could be audio, it could be a record. You can make a record that's an NFT. You can make videos like Hidden Colors can come out as NFTs if Tariq Nasheed wanted to.
So what is it like? NFT is like a
it stands for non-fungible token, meaning this. But anyway, here's the idea. Let me just try to break it down so I'm not speaking over.
Okay.
Here's what Tory Lanez did. The streaming people quit fucking with him. The record companies quit fucking with him. So he said, you know what? I'm going to make my album an NFT. So what he did is he made his album as an NFT, meaning now you could buy it and download it, and all the music is right there, just like it's an MP3. Right? So by making it an NFT, he automatically owns it. And
Oh shit.
no record companies are making any profit. No streaming is necessary. He has a big enough audience. He offers his NFTs. He creates 1 million NFTs. You could buy that NFT. You could buy it with a credit card, or you could buy it with crypto easier. But once you get it, now you can download the music from it and or the videos from that NFT. You still have the NFT, but you also have the music. So what he did is he created 1 million NFT albums. His last album is Scary After Dark or something like that. He dropped it as an NFT. So he made 1 million of them. He sold them for $1. So within 57 seconds of him dropping his album, he sold out and went platinum. No record companies in the middle of it. No record label in the middle.
Other than him?
No streaming services necessary. Right? With platinum in less than a minute. Then crazy. Because of the nature of NFTs, because, you know, if there's a high demand and there's not enough of them, now the price of those NFTs go up. Now when people sell it, so like, let's say I bought that NFT, and this really happened. I didn't buy it personally, but some people bought those NFT albums. Then they started selling for 20, 30, 40,000. So they're able to sell it and make money. And then he got 15% of every sale. So in other words, he made millions of dollars without record company, without streaming services. So he basically exposed the game. And then because it's an NFT, it's automatic ownership rights. So he owns his music. He didn't need a record company. He didn't need streaming services. Now you imagine if Snoop Dogg and everybody else gets hip to do that, record companies are done.
Oh yeah.
So that might be a motive. That might be a motive to put his ass in jail. That might be a motive to, hey, Megan Thee Stallion, I need you to change that story. I know you said that he didn't shoot you at first. We need you to change that story. You know, I don't know if he did it or not, but I do know that the record labels, they stand to lose a lot. So make an example out of him isn't far-fetched to me.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is far-fetched. That sounds like a motive, man. That sounds like you going against the system and messing up the status quo. So yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I don't think most people know that, to be honest.
Most people don't know that. I mean, because this shit doesn't hit the mainstream, because for blockchain technology to hit the mainstream, it would compromise the banking system as we know it. Because people would understand you don't really need the banks like that. That's why they don't really do that until they have their own products and services. That's why now these banks are starting to buy crypto. They're starting to offer different services that you could do on the blockchain on your own. You know what I'm saying? They're creating ETFs, electronically traded funds out of Bitcoin. So now you could buy it on the stock market. You won't really own it, but you could get exposure to it. So then they start letting it be more mainstream, as long as they don't show you the real sauce. They only show you how to interact it in ways that benefits them. You know what I'm saying?
So that's game. I'm writing shit down, man.
That's what I'm saying. Just that's why I'm saying the easy way, just study Bitcoin, what it is, because you'll learn about economics on a higher level. You'll learn about the blockchain technology. You'll learn about DeFi, decentralized finance, which is how you could do things like, you know how the bank makes money? Since you're capable of comprehending this, I might as well just go ahead and lace you up real quick. And it's gonna overload you with shit. That's okay. You'll sift through it.
I got you.
You'll sift through it and get the understanding. If it, you know what I'm saying? But okay, so banks make money in a couple different ways. So we put all of our money in a bank. Like, let's say everybody that we know banks at Bank of America, and collectively we put $1 million in Bank of America, right?
Right.
Bank of America will give us 0.25%, 0.5%, which ain't shit. That means like 25 cents per thousand a year.
Gotcha.
Okay. What they do with our money, because it's reserve, it's fractional reserve banking, they can take up to 90% of our money and reinvest it. So banks don't have all your money. You know what I'm saying? So they'll take 90% of that and reinvest it in other investments that they make money off of, that they're making flips off of, while they're giving you 0.25%, 25 cents off of every 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the year, you got 25 cents more, but they took your money and they flipped it times 10. Feel me? Another way they make money is they loan it, right? Your credit card's a loan. You want a mortgage, that's a loan. You want a new car, that's a loan. You want a business loan, that's a loan. So they loan you that at percentages that you have to pay. So you're paying them back 5, 10, 20% if your credit ain't good. And they're making money off of your money that they're loaning out, but they're not paying you nothing but 0.25%. Right. So they make money off of reinvesting our money, holding our money for us, then reinvesting it and or loaning it out. But we don't get the benefits from what they make off of our money. And if too many of us, if 15% of us wants to close our accounts, that bank goes bankrupt and it dissolves. That's what happened to all these banks that fell. So with blockchain technology, like I said, it's ran by the code. So you can put your money in situations in DeFi, which you're going to get 5%, 8%, 10%, because you could put it in a lending pool, just like the bank does. You can make money the same way the bank does. So now you could put $1,000 in a stable coin. A stable coin is a coin that doesn't go up or down. So people are worried about the volatility of the market. Well, a stable coin is just a digitized dollar. It doesn't go up or down. So if you're worried about the volatility, you don't have to. But you could put it in a DeFi protocol that's giving you 8% just to hold it, because other people are borrowing it on the other end. And the reason why you don't have to worry about them repaying you or not, your money is safe, because in order for them to borrow, and I've done this before, you have to put collateral. So like I've done this before, like when my Audi needed a new clutch, I was like, man, it's 4 racks. I don't really want to do it like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this. So what I did is I put up like 7,000 or whatever it was of collateral of some of the assets that I had. Then I borrowed 80%. I borrowed 80% of that. Got my car fixed, and then I repaid that money back to get access to my crypto again.
So you give yourself a better. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And I only got charged 2%. But here's the kicker: when I repaid it, the asset that I loaned out was lower than it was when I borrowed against it. So I actually paid it back for cheaper. See, these are the kind of things that you could do with DeFi that you can't do with the bank, which is why
they won't give you the loan for that unless you know.
So because of that, if everyone understood blockchain technology, they would start pulling back from banks more. So that's why they don't put it on the mainstream like that. And they won't until they have their own products and services that they can make money from.
Is there a book, a website, a channel? Obviously I'm talking about your channels as well. But any videos you could point to where you could start people off on? Because I know it's a lot. It's a lot of information.
It is a lot. And it takes time to get it. It takes time to really understand it and for it to really synchronize, you know what I'm saying, and process. But there's a book by a brother named Isaiah Jackson called Bitcoin for Black America. I actually interviewed him on my other channel before they took it down. That's a good book, Bitcoin for Black America. He has 2 parts now, but part 1 would be a good one to start. It doesn't get all technical. It's just more conceptual, something easy to understand. There's another book called Bitcoin the Bitcoin Standard. You could just literally Google Bitcoin for Dummies.
Bitcoin.
You can just literally put that in your YouTube search, just like Bitcoin for Dummies, Bitcoin for Beginners, and it will just show you and then from there the algorithms will link you to other shit. Only thing I would say is when you're studying this shit, don't click on the shit that is telling you about how much money you're gonna make off of this coin or that coin. Leave that shit alone. That's cap.
Got you. Right. Okay.
Understand the technology of it. Understand the economics of why once you realize why Bitcoin was created in the first place, you'll understand how revolutionary this shit is. And then once you start learning it, you'll understand how we could take advantage of this shit once we kind of get on code and start participating in the shit, man.
Yeah, man. From the way you explained it, bro, it gives us more of an advantage economically.
It gives us way more advantage.
You know what I mean? Because in terms of getting a loan, that's like fucking. It's one of the hardest things to do at a bank, especially if your credit ain't up to par. It's hard to get a loan, man. Like you said, getting your car fixed. If you was to ask the bank for $4,000 loan, they're not giving you that shit unless everything is on the up and up.
And if they did, they would have charged me more than 2%.
Yep. So yeah, that's
and then hey, here's another thing. Here's another thing. This application actually exists on the blockchain. It's called a no loss lottery. Now think about this for like maybe fundraiser or something. It's called a no loss lottery. So what it is, and this is all ran by code, so it's not a person, and you can always audit the code. There's actually code auditors out there that they'll make sure that whatever this code says it's supposed to do, it actually does that. And it's just code. Can't be hacked, can't be changed once it's deployed. So you don't have to worry about none of the shenanigans, right? So there's this thing called a no-loss lottery. So what it is like, imagine me, you, and 100 other people all putting $1 into this no-loss lottery. We all put $1 in. We hold it there for 3 months. It accumulates interest while we're holding it there. And then at the end of let's say 3 months, what happens is it builds the interest. Then we all get our dollar back automatically. And then one person will also get the interest that was accumulated. So nobody loses. Nobody loses, but one person will get all that, will get their money back and the interest.
Yo, that sounds dope. That sounds like
and it's a real thing, and it's just ran by code. It's just the code. You dig? Kind of like we say the leader's the code. Yeah. It's just the code. It's not a person that has an interest in fucking the game up. It's just ran on code. Period.
What's it called again, bro?
It's a no loss lottery. Don't worry about that part yet, man. You ain't ready for all that. Don't do that yet. No,
nah, but that was something I was trying to introduce to my family in terms of us all putting our money together. And one of us, in case an emergency happens, somebody get the pot basically for that emergency. You put just a little bit in, you know what I mean? And then when the emergency pop off, whoever.
And here's the thing: the things that don't. And listen, and that app actually exists on the Compound Finance website. But like anything we want to create, we could just pay somebody to code it. We can get AI to code it. If we know how to code, we can code it ourselves. Like we could literally create all kinds of different applications on our own. All kinds of crazy applications that exist right now already. That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't benefit the banks and the traditional financial structure to put this on mainstream, because it would make them pretty much obsolete. That's why they don't. That's why they keep hush on it. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. Yo, that's what I call gems, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. I don't speak to a gentleman. If you're gonna shoot me some gems that I don't know.
Bro, I've been trying to get our people and just understanding this shit for years now. But we are starting to get there though. Like when I first started, I was just searching for other black people that's into crypto and shit. Now we out there, but it's still early. It's still early on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we can leverage this. We can leverage this shit in so many different ways. Like I said, if New Black Media, if they shut down and took down these YouTube channels and all this shit, we could easily flip NFTs, and that could be our videos right there. Buy this, get this NFT. This NFT is the Hidden Colors series. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This Hidden Colors is 7 a.m. This NFT is an album. Right, this NFT is this information that once you have the NFT, you can download it, and it can't be stopped. So even if they want to be like, oh, we shutting down your IP address so you can't go live, we're shutting down your profile, it doesn't matter. We can still communicate, we can still share information, we can still do business, we can still do all that, and they can't stop it.
So it gives you a chance to market your brand without.
So like, especially if you already have a big audience, like Tory Lanez, he already had like 6 million followers on Twitter. So as soon as he tweeted out, this is the NFT, you could buy it, all his people was able to get it. They didn't have to go through, they didn't have to wait for the record rollout, for the record company to green light it and put the record out. They didn't have to wait for the streaming companies to say, okay, we'll list your music. Just get it straight from him.
Yo,
it's an MP3. It's basically it was an MP3 file as an NFT. That's basically what it was. He dropped the NFT that was really MP3 files. Then he did it directly from him to his consumers. He didn't need the banks, he didn't need the record labels. He didn't need none of that. And then, like, let's say you do a group project. you can code it to where anytime somebody buys that album, okay, I did the beat, so I should get 15%. It's automatic. You don't have to call up the publisher like, yo, I need my, nope, it's automatic. As soon as they buy it, the money is dispersed proportionally to those who participated in the project. Like it's deep what you could do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to share this one with my family for sure. Because the way you explained it, you simplified it enough to where I understood exactly what you were saying. I know they would as well. But
I just need you to understand the possibilities and potential, and then do your own studying on it. Because what you're gonna get out of it, you might see different angles of shit that could be done that I didn't see. You know what I'm saying? You can bring that back. Like, hey, yo, I was thinking about this. I was studying this. Look at this. I figured out whoop. And that's how it's gonna really kick off. But the beauty in it is, to participate, you don't need your personal information. You do if you want to get like a Coinbase account and shit like that, because that's essentially a bank. But just to participate and do these things, you don't have to. Your personal information ain't there. Not your name and address and all that. None of that matters. It's all just based on code. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to give up all that information. There's no like you can only do this between these hours. You know, banking out. None of that exists. Nope. It's 24 around the clock. Whenever you want to do
crazy.
It. Yeah.
All right, man. Yo, I'm gonna check. Yo, I'm gonna check all this out, man, for sure, man. I'm gonna check all of this out.
I put my link to the crypto channel in the chat, and then whatever. Once you start watching any videos, it's gonna, of course, the algorithms are gonna show you other shit. But what I'm saying is, stay disciplined on your studies. Do not worry about this coin's gonna make you rich or this is gonna. Don't do none of that shit. Just study just study what Bitcoin is, because with that you're going to learn more about finances. You're going to learn more about blockchain and the capabilities. You're going to learn more about decentralized finance. You're going to learn all of that stuff that you're going to really need. Then you'll be able to assess what you might want to invest in. You know what I'm saying?
I bet. I appreciate you navigating me out of that trap hole, the get rich quick scheme.
Nope. At the end of the day, it's an investment. It's more volatile. Yeah. You can get gains faster than typical financial market, but at the end of the day, it's whatever you do decide to invest in crypto, it's an investment. Don't do it like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be rich tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It really don't.
The way I'm looking at
any opportunity that presents itself, any opportunity that presents itself like that is likely a scam or a rug pull in the making. So just, you know what I mean? Just don't believe the hype.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as working outside of the traditional bank system.
That's exactly what it is. That's why it was created.
Literally how I'm thinking about it.
Well, listen, Bitcoin was created after the market crash in 2008, 2009. They created it so people don't have to use a traditional financial system. That's exactly why it was created in the first place.
Well, then that confirmed it for me, man. That's why I'm excited.
Real.
Word. But all right, though, man. Yo, you take it easy, man. I know I kept you on here for a minute, man. I appreciate all the information, man. For sure. That's what it's all about.
You're good.
All right, one love, man.
One. Let's do it like this before I end it. Bring you some West Coast as we get up out of this and wrap it up. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is Mac Dre, Mac Stabber, fair use. Let's go.
Yes, my lord. You know, you're some boy out there. I'm going like, you know, be a backstabber and Mac Stabber. Yeah, you me. I want them man, man. The man, them all try to take food out of our mouth and off our table. My lord, something I've done about them man.
Mac Stabber. Smile in your face. Stab you in the back. Mac Stabber. Yeah. It's time to pull the sheets off these niggas, man.
Yeah, something like that.
Heard.
Check
this out.
No.
I done heard your tape, Mac. That shit is whack. Why the fuck you selling that? You need to go back to selling crack. Take it from a nigga that have been to hell and back. Oh yeah, I forgot. You ain't sold a goddamn crumb. You's a studio gangster, chump. Where the fuck you from? no love for the niggas that done laced your motherfucking boots. Niggas that slave went to the grave for you. Niggas that ain't scared to shoot. You Gilligan ass nigga, I remember I was making your promos. Now you wanna dish your real folks and chop it up with them homos? Like that nigga Kyrie. You let that sissy cross game soak me up using your name? I guess it's just a whole thing. Y'all niggas killing me with all that gay shit. All y'all niggas came up.
Fuck that FBA shit, huh?
Mark Wall, you need to get fucked up the booty hole. Knowing the first time you touched the mic was in my studio. You niggas must have forgot that before I was busting raps and rhymes, I was on the track with a sack, sipping yak, strapped with a gat and a 9. I've been to your house. I seen your chrome. But you ain't gonna bust a grape in Napa Valley with golf shoes on. A bitch made nigga gets no love from a real G. Cuddies from the 3 C's. I know you feel me. I should've known when I came home something was wrong. Your own crew tried to have your dome. They just left that shit alone. Now you wanna fuck with a cutthroat nigga that been doing dirt since Crease 501s, Chuck Taylors, and them eyes-eye shirts? Yes, 5 Trey 5 niggas don't like you. Don't believe it? Hop in your Jaguar nigga and slide through. You'll be lucky to leave the ghetto with just a leaking lip. You feeling froggish, I'm feeling hoggish, boy. We can slip in Granny backyard. Then when you act hard, I'ma treat you like a Mac bitch. Young Mac Mark. Young Black Brother Records a goddamn flop. Kyrie needed to stop way back when his ass got dropped from that major label. Nigga had a major stable, but he shot himself in the head, boy. The blow was fatal. God don't like that. Why ask your mama? Now everywhere you travel, you better have Usalama. Mac Mall gets no love. Ask my nigga Doobie. He shook us for videos and pretty hoes and left us out his movie. That nigga left me for dead when I was doing time in jail. Couldn't shoot a nigga Nathan when he was having major mail. He's a backstabber. Or should I say a Mac stabber? Well, here's some Mac magic, nigga. Abracadabra. I just turned your ass into an official bitch. Fuck you and your cousin Gilla. Dirty snitch. That fool got real niggas never coming home. And that's the type of shit niggas like you condone. I used to have love for you. I used to bust with you. But now you done cross game, nigga, I can't fuck with you.
If they hold again, them can't stand it. Stand up and take it, boy. No run from it. If they hold again, no try that it. Stand up and take it, boy. No run from it. You said if they hold again, them can't stand it. Stand up and take it, boy. No run from it. If they hold again, no try that it. Stand up and take it, boy. No run from it. If they hold again, not try that it. Stand up and take it, boy. No run from it. If they hold again, not try that it. Stand up and take it, boy. Don't run from it, boy.